A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Five bells. Stand by all stations.
Attention! All districts, a 5-alarm fire. 5 bells, move in immediately.
That's it. Let's roll. Let's go. Firefighters!
Presenting Firefighters, the true-to-life story of our unsung heroes who stand ready to ride by day or night against our most murderous enemy, the demon of fire. In just a minute, we'll drop into the fire rescue station where Tim Collins and his friend Mush Mushnosky are casually shooting the breeze about firefighting in the old days, blissfully unaware that the toughest rescue job of their careers, as well as the strangest, is just about to tap in. A rescue job that has both a humorous side and its dangers as well. Now, we'll begin to learn all about this newest Tim Collins adventure just as soon as we've heard this interesting message. Let's go, firefighters! Let's go to Fire Rescue Station where Tim Collins and his rescue buddy, Private Mushnosky, are passing the time with a little talk about old-time firefighting, little realizing that they're about to roll to the most difficult and strangest rescue call of their career. Right now, Mushnosky is saying to Tim,
"You think we got a tough fighting fires nowadays. You ought to be a smoke eater back around 1900.
Oh, I know all about those days. My father, Ben Collins, was a rookie around about that time. I remember he used to say they had to pump their own water.
Yeah. That must have been rugged.
Yeah.
No high-pressure system, just stick the hose in the nearest body of water and start working the old hand pump.
Yeah, you know, Mush, that was one of the troubles in the big Chicago fire, not enough water.
See, the Chicago fire. That was the one cow was supposed to have started, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mrs. O'Leary's cow. Yeah, she kicked a lantern over, so they say, and the whole city of Chicago goes up.
They sure had terrific fires in those days. Look at the San Francisco fire.
Yeah. Well, thanks to modern firefighting equipment and modern know-how, the old demon of fire is easier to control now.
Yep. We've come a long way since the days of the horse-drawn engines and the leather buckets. Why, just...
Hold it. That's us.
Down by the riverfront.
Yeah.
Come on, let's roll.
Yeah, let's go, boys. The waterfront, huh? Wonder what's cooking down there this time.
I just hope it's nothing to do with counterfeit plates. Brother, I've had enough of that.
We'll soon find out. Let's go!
Forgetting the old days of firefighting, Tim, Mush, and their rescue buddies ride the big rescue truck down to the river docks, running over in their minds as they ride all the emergencies that might demand their skill. A drowning, an asphyxiation case, a gas main broken and endangering lives. But the emergency that greets them as they pull up alongside an unloading pier is the last thing they would ever have thought of.
Well, this is the place, all right, Mush, but where's the emergency?
Well, I don't see anything wrong here.
Oh.
You suppose...
Oh, look.
Where, Tim?
Up the side of that building. That's our emergency.
Yeah?
Monkeys.
Yeah. By golly, you're right. Monkeys by the dozens. Swarming all over the place.
Where do you suppose they came from?
It's got me. Huh. One thing's certain, they're not supposed to be climbing all over that building.
No, now, if they were sparrows or even cats, that'd be different. They're native to the city, but monkeys.
Here comes a guy who looks like he could enlighten us.
Thank heavens you've come. You've got to help me, gentlemen.
You're the guy who owns these things?
They're not things. They're genuine rhesus monkeys all the way from Calcutta. Very valuable.
What are they doing running around loose?
Well, that's the trouble. We were unloading them from the boat. I came all the way from India with them when suddenly the sling broke and dumped their cages on the dock. Well, in no time at all,
Yes, sir, I see. In no time at all, they scattered like a bunch of kids at a picnic. I haven't seen so many monkeys since I last visited the zoo.
We must catch them, gentlemen, and very soon. You see, they're experimental monkeys, shipped to this country in connection with certain tests.
And it's up to us to get them back in their cages, huh?
Did you think you can?
Well, this is the first time I ever had a call like this. What do you think, Tim? How are you on monkeys?
Oh, this is my first monkey job, too, but we can sure try.
That's the old rescue spirit. Got any ideas how?
Well, I suppose we could put ladders up and climb up after them.
Excellent idea. Since you suggested it, you may have the honor of catching the first monkey.
Oh, gee, Oh, go on. Come on, give me a hand with this ladder, you guys.
And please hurry. After caring for the little fellas all the way from India, I can't lose them now, gentlemen.
Boy.
Get them.
Tim, this tops them all. Anything can happen in rescue.
Oh, boy, you aren't just saying it. Who'd have thought you
joined the fire department to become a protector of public life and property? You wind up a nursemaid to a bunch of monkeys.
Mush is right. Anything can happen in the rescue company, even monkeys. But as ridiculous as the situation seems, the boys are still faced with the problem of how to get their hands on several dozen small and slippery animals and return them to their cages before their keeper, Lem Lang, goes to pieces altogether. Well, right now, we find Tim slowly advancing up a ladder toward a ledge where sits a small, bright-eyed monkey. Tim is carefully watching the monkey, and the monkey is carefully watching Tim. Mush is coaching from the ground.
Okay, easy does it, boy. Just sneak up on it.
Oh, shh. I know what I'm doing. You just watch. Yeah, just a foot or so more, and Mr. Monkey will...
Grab it!
Oh, doggone it, I missed it.
Don't fall there.
Hey. Oh, darn it, that's the fifth one that's got away.
Come on, Don. Pretty clear that this is not the way to catch monkeys.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that one going on.
We gotta think of something else. Well, how about it, Mr. Lang? Have you got any ideas?
Well, now, let me see. Well, monkeys do like bananas.
Bananas!
Yes.
Of course, that's what we need, Mush. Why didn't I think of that before?
Yeah, the rescue truck has just about everything, but I'm afraid bananas is one piece of equipment that we don't have.
Yeah, all right. Don't give it another thought. I'll run over to the fruit stand across the street, and then I'll bet we begin to catch monkeys.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's one thing about Tim. He's never licked. Even though the fire department's manual of instruction neglected to include a chapter about monkeys control, Tim is determined to find a way to corral Mr. Lang's little friends. And now, armed with a handful of bananas, Tim is closing in on a monkey which is swinging casually from a neon restaurant sign. Mush, as before, is coaching from the ground.
Steady now, steady. Don't scare him.
Hey, you just get that cage ready. I'll tend to things up here. All right, come on. Nice monkey. Monkey. Yeah, here's a nice banana, monkey. Here's a nice yellow banana. That's it, monkey. Just reach a little more. That's it. Oh, that little son of a gun.
What happened?
He grabbed the banana and ran off.
Oh, dear, I'm afraid we'll never catch them after all these months. And what will Mr. Jackson say, I wonder?
Better come on down, Tim. We'll try to think of something else.
Yeah?
Hey, who's Mr. Jackson?
Why, he's the man who ordered the monkeys, the gentleman who's due any minute to pick them up.
Well, I have a tough time doing it, I'm afraid. Unless he's a better climber than we are.
Oh, gosh, this is really getting me down, Mush. Never saw anything as slippery as they are.
Maybe this Mr. Jackson will have some ideas. Where is he?
Well, he should be here by now.
Here comes a guy in a terrible hurry. Maybe that's...
Yes, it's Mr. Jackson. Oh, dear, he'll be so annoyed.
Lang, what's happened here? Why are all those monkeys loose?
Well, the sling broke, Mr. Jackson, while unloading them.
Good heavens, man. Do you realize the importance
Well,
of it?
these gentlemen are from the fire department, Mr. Jackson. They've done their best to get...
Yes, I'm sure they have, and I'm grateful. But we must capture those monkeys, and immediately.
Well, we're doing all we can, sir.
Tell me, you seem unusually concerned, Mr. Jackson. I know the monkeys are valuable, sir. Mr. Lang said so, but...
Did he tell you all about the monkeys?
Oh, what do you mean, sir?
I see that he didn't. These monkeys were specially imported from India to be used in a very important medical experiment. Lives. The lives of a great many people depend upon experiments these monkeys will be used in.
You mean they're to be used as sort of guinea pigs?
That's right. The doctors are on the verge of cracking the mystery of one of our most deadly maladies. These monkeys are vital if their experiments are to be successful.
Oh, well, tell me, sir, are these monkeys really that important? I mean, will catching them or losing them mean the difference maybe between life or death, or, well, to some people?
They most assuredly mean just that, sir.
Oh, well, in that case, sir, the fire department will do everything in its power to capture them, Mr. Jackson.
Tim, you know what I think?
What's that, Mush?
I think we'd better get Chief Cody over here on the double.
Well, it looks like what started out to be a hilarious lark has turned into an urgent job for the rescue company. Monkeys are fun, but when capturing them only means the difference between success and failure in an important medical experiment, well, that's serious business. Now, to learn what happens when Chief Cody arrives on the scene, be sure to listen to the next true-to-life episode of The Firefighters. In just a moment, Fire Chief Cody will tell you, boys and girls, how you can help the firefighters in your own town. But right now, let's listen to this message. And now, Chief Bob Cody with a special message for the Firefighters Brigade. Chief Cody.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm glad to be back again after my week's visit at the Fire Chiefs Convention. You know, while I was there, some of my old cronies and I got to discussing the disastrous Coconut Grove fire, the fatal fire in Boston that killed 492 persons, a greater loss of life than caused by the San Francisco earthquake and fire in 1906. Now, I want to tell you that for this reason, to impress upon you the importance of always noting when you go into a public building where the fire exits are. They'll be marked with red lights and the word exit. Be sure to always look around for them. It may save your life. Well, that's all for now. Till I drop in next time, so long.
Fire Chief Cody and the young rookie fireman Tim Collins will be back on the same station the next time you hear...
That's it. Let's go! Let's go! Firefighters!
Bring you Mr. Joseph Cotton in tonight's presentation of Suspense. Tonight, Autolite presents a story based on fact, an American legend of love and death, as we recreate the tragic history of Tom Dooley. Our star, Mr. Joseph Cotton.
Hey, Wilcox, where are you rushing like a loco coyote?
Hi, Sheriff. Well, I've got a date to tell folks that for the swellest, sweetest, and smoothest performance money can buy, you just can't beat those world-famous ignition-engineered Autolite spark plugs.
Well, even an ignorant critter like me knows that.
Sure, Sheriff. And I'll bet you also know that if your present spark plugs aren't functioning properly, your car won't give you the performance it should. Have those spark plugs checked by your Autolite spark plug dealer, the expert in cleaning and adjustment. And if replacements are needed, he'll recommend ignition-engineered Autolite spark plugs, either standard or resistor type.
Yep. Why, they're smoother than Grandma's flapjacks.
Right you are. So see your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer. To quickly locate him, phone Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25. Remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now, Autolite presents Tom Dooley, starring Mr. Joseph Cotton, hoping once again to keep you in suspense.
Bow down your head, Tom Dooley. Bow down your head and cry. Bow down your head, Tom Dooley. You know you're bound to die.
Whoa, whoa. You wait here, North.
You're a fool, Tom. You oughtn't to do it.
You're going to stop me, cousin? Just watch the horses.
Open!
Yes?
be Paul Cabot?
Yes, I'm Cabot, but...
Oh! Now get up. Maybe I ain't gonna kill you. I don't know. Get up! Let's go, cousin. How do I look, cousin?
Dirty?
She won't mind.
Here's what you just did.
She won't mind. Don't need you anymore, Noah. Go home.
I'm waiting.
You're liable to wait right long. Laura.
Hello, Tom.
Oh, darling. Still a darling. Pretty, isn't it?
Let go of me. You better come in.
I better. Well, my darling.
I thought you were dead, Tom.
Dead they were, piled high. But not Tom Dooley.
Months ago, after Gettysburg, when the men came drifting back home, nobody had seen you, Tom. Some said they heard you were dead. Died early at Manassas.
What's the talking for, Laura? What's all this talking for?
Don't, Tom.
Pretty mouth. Wasting on talk.
But don't!
Teasing and trembling in a way I remember.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Whatever you do after now, Laura, don't hit no more. Gentle me. You do that now.
4 years you've been away, Tom Dooley.
I'm back now.
You're back, and I thought you were dead. Over a year now. And I grieve for you, like I had to do.
And a man came along and gentled you, like I heard he did.
Yes.
Paul Cabot.
I love him. That's the way things are now.
A doctor. A Yankee.
The war's done, Tom Dooley. And the killing's done, and the hate's done.
And what's happened to the loving, Laura? Yours to me.
Over, Tom. There was grieving, like I told you, and it's over. And I love a Yankee doctor named Paul Cabot.
Love him. Come on, I'll take you to him.
You what?
Where he's laying on the floor. I think he was whimpering when I left him like a sugar candy baby. Come on, I'll show you.
Get out of here.
Maybe I will, but I don't know that yet. First, I want you to remember something, Laura.
Get out.
I want you to remember you hanging on my horse and wailing, the tears on you 4 years ago when I rode out to join with Zeb Vance and his cavalry. You remember, Laura?
I grieve.
Tears on you. That was your grieving. Listen to mine. The fighting and the blood and the screaming and Bull Run and Manassas and the Yankees. Killing them and they always coming. Virginia and Pennsylvania and the killing and leaving your own blood every place you go.
Tom.
But you go because as long as you're going, you're coming back. Back here to the Smokies. Back here to Laura Foster. That pretty mouth. Laura.
No, I don't love you no more, Tom. I don't love you.
You're going to love me. You remember how...
But Tom, not you.
You ain't worth those 4 years. On account of you couldn't wait for your man. You better go, cousin. Get out of here, Noah. You're my blood cousin, and I'm holding a gun on you. And I'm saying you gotta go. I kill you where you stand, Tom. No man to blame me. I would, Tom. Yeah. I think you would. Night, Laura.
Still know how to play a tune on a fiddle, don't you, Tom?
Sure I do.
Nobody plays like you play, Tom.
Oh, thank you, Jess.
I missed you here on the stove. Why, all of us thought you
Thought
were...
I was dead.
What kept you, Tom? All of us come back soon as we heard General Lee surrendering. What happened to you?
I had never seen Pennsylvania. Walked around it.
With a gal?
Just walked.
You walked too slow, Tom. You walked a lot too slow. Laura Foster passed you right by.
Yeah, I heard.
Tell me she's learning how to read and write now.
I heard that, too.
Doctor. Yankee.
War's over, Jess. Fighting, hating. Why are you laughing?
I heard you almost killed a Yankee doctor, Tom.
You heard it, so I guess I did.
Hey, Noah.
What you want, Jess?
Pass that jug over here. Give your cousin a drink.
I ain't drinking no more, Jess.
Hey, now. Recent you ain't doing a lot of things. Well, you changed, Tom.
I reckon I have.
You gonna learn how to read and write? Doctors say he can teach anybody who wants to learn. Here is how you can learn a lot from that doctor.
Stop it, Jess.
Those Yankees are smart fellas. Reckon that's why they won the war. Won everything, those Yankees.
You heat up my cousin, your tongue's going to be real cold, Jess.
Oh, be it now. What you got to say about that, Tom?
Keep talking. I don't mind.
All I can say is my gal start cheeking with somebody else. Hi, Yankee.
Well,
What are you on?
I've got a list here. I need some groceries.
We've just been talking about you. Me, Zach, Humman, Josh, all of us. Noah Dooley. His cousin Tom, too.
Here's the list.
You read it to me, Doctor. I ain't got the lining.
Sack of potatoes.
Like I said, we've been talking. Wondering.
Sack of sugar.
Wondering. You like North Carolina Yankees? Carolina Knights?
Green beans and flour.
How about North Carolina women? Pretty, ain't they? Soft.
Wait on him, Jeff.
And Laura's prettiest of them all, ain't she?
Wait on him.
Ain't she? Tom Dooley here used to think so.
Man wants to buy something, shopkeeper. Sell it to him.
I seen you walking, Yankee, trying to get yourself lost with Laura.
Jess.
Yeah, what you want, Tom?
How'd you knock him down, Mr. Dooley?
Makes up for things. I'm apologizing. I want to shake your hand.
I'd be pleased. It's all right about the other night. I've forgotten about it. I want to be your friend.
That's what you are right now, Mr. Cabot. I want to tell you this.
What?
Laura loves you, and that's all right.
We're getting married, Mr. Dooley.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying I hope you'll be very happy.
Laura will be very glad to hear that. Mr. Dooley.
Yes?
Laura says you play the fiddle.
I hear you're having a betrothal party tomorrow night.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I'll play the fiddle for you. For you and Laura.
It's the black, black heart within you, a scheming for a life, saying you'd play the fiddle while feeling along your knife.
Hey, Noah. Come here a minute. Yeah, what you want, Tom? Spell me on my fiddle a little bit, Noah. Sure. Man, I bet you're tired. Fiddling 2 hours without letting up. Spell me, cousin. Take the fiddle. Where you going, Tom? Just play the fiddle pretty, cousin. Don't worry about me. Laura.
Oh.
I didn't mean to frighten you, Laura.
That's all right.
Noah's playing me my fiddle. I saw you come out here. I wanted to say something to you.
Tom.
Yes.
I'm glad. I wanted to talk to you, too. Paul told me what you did. They teasing him and calling him Yankee. And you...
Oh, that's all right.
And I've been hearing other things, Tom.
What?
How you're different. How you ease down and not so wild so much no more. I'm glad, Tom.
But it don't make no difference to you, does it, Laura? How I feel, you mean?
No.
Why are you out here by yourself?
Because I'm so happy, Tom. Because I danced a lot, and because my heart's pounding so much. Because Paul's in there, and when I look at him...
I know, Laura. Laura.
Yes?
Walk with me.
That wouldn't be right, Tom.
Things I got to tell you.
It wouldn't be right to listen, Tom.
Just a favor I'm asking. I'm pleading. I changed, you heard that. Little walk, Laura.
A little walk. Yes. My heart will settle down.
You remember we used to come this way?
No talk of that, Tom.
I remember we used
I'm going back.
No. I'm sorry.
Tom, you'll find you a girl. There's no bitterness now, is there, Tom? Tom?
The way that water runs, from the top of the mountains to who knows where.
You'll find you a girl and you'll be happy.
A man like me, Laura.
Tom, why the knife?
Because a man like me never be happy. You the cause, Laura. You the cause. I'll take the fiddle now, Noah.
Here you are. Oh, you feel better, Tom?
I feel a lot better.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Joseph Cotton in Tom Dooley. Tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite, and I have here as our special guest Lieutenant Colonel Sherman D. Cosgrove of the United States Army. Colonel Cosgrove, I understand that the Army has special relief funds that are made available to officers and enlisted personnel and their families in time of distress.
We do, Mr. Wilcox. It's administered by the Army Emergency Relief in Washington.
Now, where do these funds come from, Colonel Cosgrove?
The money comes from voluntary contributions by the men and women in the services, and from proceeds of a very few special outside events approved by the officers in charge of these three relief organizations. That's the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. One of these events, by the way, is the supper party and reception to be given by the Autolite family at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City on April 7.
Well, tell me, how are these funds made available to those in distress?
After thorough investigation, allocation of funds is handled by chaplains under the supervision of their commanding officers.
It must require a huge sum of money to take care of all the needs that develop over a period of a year.
It surely does, Mr. Wilcox. Since its incorporation in February 1942, Army Emergency Relief alone has disbursed over $24 million in rendering financial assistance to over 250,000 members of the Army and their families.
Well, thank you very much, Colonel Cosgrove. Tonight we've been privileged to have as our guest Colonel Sherman D. Cosgrove, who has brought you a special message on behalf of the Armed Services Emergency Relief Funds.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Joseph Cotton in Elliot Lewis's production of Tom Dooley, based on fact and well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Bow down your head, Tom Dooley. Bow down your head and cry. You killed poor Laura Foster. You know you're bound to die.
Hello, Mr. Dooley. Nice party you got going, Mr. Cabot.
talk to you for a minute?
Sure. Hey, Noah, spell me again, will you? Yeah, sure, Tom. What can I do for you?
Have you seen Laura?
Oh, a while ago when I was fiddling. My, she looks pretty tonight. There's something else I got to tell you.
Yes?
You Yankees know how to give parties, too.
How long ago did you see Laura?
Oh, like I told you when I was...
How long ago was that?
Half hour, maybe. Why, what's the matter?
Well, she's not here.
Well, outside, maybe.
Not that I could find.
Well, maybe you
Would you come help me look for her?
Oh, she don't need looking for. She'll be around.
Enjoy yourself, Mr. Dooley.
I'll do that, Mr. Kaplan.
Aaron?
Yes. Oh.
See Laura?
I saw her go outside a while back. I haven't seen her since.
Get a few of the boys. Let's go outside and look for her.
Sure. Hey, Betty Lou, come on, give me a dance.
Tom, wake up.
What?
Come on, Tom. Come on. Wake up. Get on your feet.
Why are you waking me, cousin?
You listen to me.
Why are you waking me when it's still black outside?
You killed Laura, Tom.
What?
They found Laura snagged on a rock right under the North Falls. She was stabbed.
What are you saying, though?
I'm saying it and everybody else is saying it.
Saying what?
You put a knife to Laura.
Oh, you saw me dancing, Noah. Everybody saw me dancing.
People seen you go outside, too. They're coming after you, Tom.
Saying I killed her?
Knowing it. Knowing you the only person had reason.
But
You talking and they're coming after you. They're going to hang you, cousin. They're going to hang you for sure. You killed her, didn't you?
You got to help me.
You put on all the gentle and there was nothing but black inside you. You, my cousin.
And I'm your cousin, and you got to help me.
Kill her. Pretty thing like Laura.
You blood kin to me, Noah, and you're going to help me. You're going to do what I tell you.
No, I'm not, Tom. I'm doing nothing to help you.
You're talking like a man who don't care if you die. You're going to wait till I get out of this cabin, till I get on your horse and start riding toward Tennessee. Then you're going to wait some more. Till you hear them coming, then you're going to get on my horse and wear my hat, and you're going to start riding the other direction.
When you leave, I got the length of this room to decide whether to shoot you in the back. Now you get going.
Tom Dooley galloped west, and when the sun was gone, he laid him down to rest.
Who's there? Who's there? I see you. I'm going to shoot.
That's my friend Solomon, you might see. Me, you can't see at all, because I'm at your back. Now, you just stand where you're standing.
What do you want?
You stand where you're standing, and you're going to feel something. Feel it? My gun to your back. All right, Solomon, take his gun. Give it to him, give it to him. That's it. You come out too, George. You too, Dawson.
I don't know you, man. Who?
Yankees.
What do you want me for?
Well, we don't know, Johnny Reb. We just come down here on a visit.
You want my money, that's what.
Now, there's a thought. Where's your money, Reb?
I got none.
Oh, you got none. You got none. Where you come from, Reb?
From back there.
You still wearing the rebel jacket. Don't you know the war's over?
War's over, and you still...
Enjoying it, living off the fat of southern land. Won a war, we did, Reb, and we're enjoying it.
I've got no quarrel with you now. Yank.
Once you had a quarrel. Where'd you fight, Reb?
Manassas. Gettysburg.
Manassas. You take a look at the wood I wear for a leg, Reb. I changed them at Manassas. A red bullet. You shoot that bullet?
Maybe I did.
You got us a brave one, Selman. Make him cry a little bit.
Go.
Get up, Reb. Get up. You crying? You smiling? Can't tell with that face Solomon made for you. Now, let me look real close. Why, you ain't doing nothing at all.
Just let me get out of here.
Night's entertainment. That's what we're looking for, Reb. And you don't do nothing. Laugh, cry, nothing. Ah, you dance, I bet. You, Reb. I tell you what. You dance for us. Dawson, get us a rope.
You've got no cause to hang me.
For dancing purposes. You do us a do-si-do on the air from that tree over there. Thank you kindly, Dawson.
No cause at all.
Don't like to dance? Then what you gonna do for us, Reb? I know a thing. Sing us a tune. Nice Yankee tune. Reb, you know one? Sure you do. I'll help you, Reb. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Sing.
Let him alone.
Who are you?
A Yankee. Like you. Isn't that right, Tom?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Cabot.
A Yankee, gentlemen. Who says with this rifle that the hating's over. Now leave this man alone and get out.
All right. All right, men. Get.
Oh, Mr. Cabot, they were going to kill me. I'm grateful.
Grateful? For saving your life?
Mr. Cabot.
You're going back right where you came from, Tom Dooley.
No,
to where you killed Laura. Walk ahead of me, Tom Dooley, or I'll shoot you where you stand.
Doctor. Yankee, doctor.
Who's going to see that you die legal, Tom Dooley?
Cart's ready for you, Tom. Time for hanging. Come on, Tom. To that scrub oak tree. Get up on your horse, Tom. Rope tight to the branch up there.
Yeah, real tight.
Mr. Cabot, reckon you want to fit the noose to Tom's neck?
Yes.
Lean down, Tom Dooley.
All right, it's done.
You got anything to say, Tom, before we slap your horse out from under you?
Bow down your head, Tom Dooley. Bow down your head and cry.
Goodbye, Tom. May your soul rest in peace.
You killed poor Laura Foster. You know you're bound to die.
Get!
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Joseph Cotton.
Suspense has again been brought to you by Autolite, world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite is proud to serve the greatest names in the industry. That's why during these early months of 1953, the Autolite family has again saluted the leading manufacturers who install Autolite products as original equipment. Next week, as a climax to this salute series, our show will originate from the Easter Parade of Stars Auto Show in the Grand Ballroom of New York's Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Our story will be a dramatization of the first and only round-the-world auto race ever held. Our star will be Van Johnson. So be sure to be with us next week for the auto race that stirred the world.
next week, a story based on fact, as we recreate the first international automobile race. The time, 1908. The story, Around the World. Our star, Mr. Van Johnson. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Elliott Lewis, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Tom Dooley was written for Suspense by Morton Fine and David Friedkin. Featured in tonight's cast were Sammy Hill, William Conrad, Joseph Kearns, and Bill Bissell. The singer was Harry Stanton.
Joseph Cotton may currently be seen in the 20th Century Fox picture, Niagara.
And remember, next week, Mr. Van Johnson in Around the World.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Monday afternoon, the National Broadcasting Company will bring you a special address by the Duke of Windsor, formerly King Edward VIII of England. It is to be his first broadcast since he renounced the throne. You're invited to listen to this broadcast next Monday afternoon at 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Tune in to your favorite NBC station for this exclusive address. Oboler's Plays. On the winds of the night, we bring you a story whispered in the night. The place, the island of Arran, off the west coast of Ireland.
Oh, listen to them, Katie Donald. Did you ever hear a happier sound in all creation?
Aye, Father Donahue. Not every day that such a blessed marriage comes on the island.
Ah, but he's a good boy, your Thomas.
Aye.
Now, Kate Donald, would you mind telling me why your face just went dark like a cloud going over?
Oh, 'tis nothing, good Father.
Ah, 'tis Paddy you're thinking of.
Father Donahue, sometimes I don't understand the ways of the good Lord.
What's that you say?
Thomas and Paddy, both of them born to me on the same cold winter's night. Both of them the same flesh and blood out of me. And yet Thomas as good as an angel in paradise. And Paddy evil from the moment he took his first breath of God's good air.
Now, Katie, don't talk like that.
Oh, it's true, Father, it's true. The minute he was in my arms and I saw he hadn't a button's breadth of ear on him, I thought to myself, Katie Donald, it's the devil's own brother you've got for a son.
Katie.
Ah, you know it's true, Father. Paddy, that rake, drinking and brawling and running from work as if the devil himself was pulling him away.
Aye.
And with each year he grows worse, stealing what his crooked tongue can't talk away from.
No more of that talk. Your son Thomas, he's repaid you for all your trouble. A good boy. And now the prettiest girl in all the Blaskets waiting to be his bride as soon as the sun starts setting. I tell you...
Oh, Thomas, boy.
Well, now, and what are the two of you holding secret meetings about? We've been talking about the prettiest girl in the islands. You mean she's the prettiest girl in all the world? Hey, Mother?
I'm so happy for you, my son.
I know, my darling. Hey, it's getting so late. Well, I think I'll go out and listen to the fiddling. See you when the sun is setting, Thomas. Yes, the sooner the better, Father. It's an impatient man I am. The good Father. A marriage blessed with his tongue is a marriage that... My Mother, what is it?
You know the answer.
Paddy.
Aye.
He'll get him a wedding.
I'm praying he won't.
Now, Mother, don't say things like that.
You're a sorrow on my heart, drinking and brawling and staying up.
Oh, Paddy, you did come.
Speak of the devil.
Why shouldn't that be you? Is it only strangers welcome at your wedding?
Oh, now, Paddy, that's not the way to talk. There's food and drink in this house today for every man, and a double helping for you, and you know it.
Oh, he's there. Listen to me, Brother Thomas. Is your head that full of weddings that it can't hear a chance of making us all richer than a Yankee?
What do you mean? Speak up, Paddy. What devilment are you up to now?
Devilment, nothing. It's honest money I'm talking of. Maybe next pipes and tobacco be at my own wake, for I'm not telling you the truth.
We're listening.
Do you remember that hulk of a ship that was wrecked off Innisnabro a bit ago?
Well?
I went there yesterday to see if there was anything worth having, and listen to me, brother. There in the bottom of a pool, no deeper than this room, is lying enough bolts of copper and brass to make you and me the richest man in the island.
Don't listen to him, Thomas. It's the drink inside of him talking.
May my next drink split me like a salmon if I got the drop in me. I tell you it's true, every word.
Oh, sure. Wait a minute, Mother. Where did you say this fortune was lying, Paddy?
In 8 feet of water, right off the place where he caught that seal last year. There's more than 500 pieces of copper and brass there, and they're worth £1 apiece, as sure as I'm standing here. Well, haven't you got a word to say to me?
Yeah, it's a long while, Paddy, my son, since you brought back anything worthwhile to this house.
Well, I've done it now, no mistake. Don't stand there like a lump, Thomas. Get the boat out. I tell you, there's a fortune waiting.
But, Paddy, my wedding.
You talk like you're cracked. Wouldn't you rather bring the bride a pocketbook filled with gold sovereigns than the empty leather you got now?
Well,
Wouldn't
yes,
you rather be able to give her a bit of meat in the house and a little dress for the prettiness of her than the empty words you now give her?
But, Paddy, I can't.
Your mother, you talk to the man. A king's fortune right under his hand, and the cracked fool won't bend over to pick it up.
But if it's in the sea, Paddy, it'll wait until after the wedding.
Oh, wait, will it? And with those Inish boats sailing all around the place. I tell you, it's now or never, and my soul to the devil if I'm not saying true words. Come on, Thomas. 3 hours, I'll have you richer than a Yankee. You
Wait. It's Eileen herself. Let her have the word whether you stay or go. Stay or go where, Mother Donald? What's going on, Thomas?
Well, you see, Eileen...
Dear of the day, sure, let me say it. There is a fortune in brass and copper bolts waiting for us in water no deeper than a man's neck over at Innisnabro. And Thomas here thinks you'd be fool enough to say no to his going.
But must he go now?
The sea doesn't wait. For all we know, the Inish fishermen have found the treasure already.
And we'll be back in 3 hours, I
You'll have a dress for every day of the week.
Thomas, do you want to go?
Well, we could build a new house with the money.
Ooh, the finest house O'Donnell ever had. Well, look at this place. The hens fall through the roof every time they scratch a bit before setting.
Mother Donald, you haven't said your word. Do you think Thomas should go now? I mean with all them out there. Well, child, we're so poor.
£100. We'll be kings of the island. Fast now. We can take the side.
Wait, brother. Eileen, it is your wish.
I'd be a poor wife to you, Thomas, if I stood in your way of making a living even before our marriage.
Oh,
there'll be time enough for that stuff when we get back. Come on, Thomas.
Yeah, I'm coming. Until the wedding, darling.
Got to go with you.
Thomas?
Yes. I'll be back in 3 hours, darling. Bye-bye, Mother.
Hurry back, my son. Our friends are dancing for the wedding. You shouldn't keep them waiting.
I won't.
Oh, little baby, why should you cry? Thomas has plowed the sea so many times. Why should you cry this time?
Oh, Mother Donald, I'm frightened.
Frightened? But why that?
I don't know. When that door closed behind us, seemed as if the waters of the sea were closing over us. Oh, Mother Donald, hold me close. I'm so afraid.
Eileen, baby, come away from the water.
No.
4 hours you've been sitting here. What good is it? He said he'd come right back. Aye, I know. But sitting on the cliff, staring out at the water, won't speed their way. Come back. Old good neighbors are waiting. What'll they think? I'll never see Thomas again. What's that you said, girl? I'll never see Thomas again. Have you lost your head? Look, the sea's smooth and the sky's clear. What misfortune can come on a day like this? I'll never see Thomas again. Stop saying that, girl. It's tempting the devil to do his evil work. Eileen! Stay away from the edge. You go over into the sea.
The sea. Look at it, Mother Donald. Empty.
Empty, is it? Look well, Eileen. My eyes are not too sharp. To the west now. Isn't that a boat there?
No. No, it's nothing. Oh, Thomas. Thomas.
Stop it, girl. Nothing's happened to them. It's taken them longer than I thought. I told you that before. Yeah, there's not a pin's worth wrong with them. There can't be, I tell you.
Mother Donald.
What is it, child?
To the west. Where they went to water.
Holy Mother. That wind, where did it come from?
Out of the west. Where he was.
But so quick. In all my years, the wind's never come so quick before.
The water. Look at it swirling and tossing. He's dead. My Thomas is dead.
No. No, stop saying that. He's not dead, my Thomas. My Thomas is not dead. Come in, good neighbor. Is there any blessed word of my son?
The Holy Mary have pity. None, Katie. We've been burning fires on top of the cliff all through the night. But there's naught to be seen but the tempest and the smothering waves.
My son. My son.
And the little bride. Where is she?
Sleeping at last. Oh, what have I done? That misfortune. What is it?
To the west.
Is it my son?
Yes, come on.
Are they dead?
No, the boat's coming and there's living hands on the oars. Come on.
Eileen! Wake up, girl! It's them! Come back! Eileen!
Hurry, Mother Donald. Oh, Tom.
Yes. I'm moving fast as I can. It's hard against this wind.
Blessed wind, it let him live.
Oh, you bless it for the life of one girl, and I bless it for two.
Look, all the people.
Aye, the word is spread. Can you see anything, Eileen?
Oh, there's so many on the beach. Oh, why don't they stand aside?
Good neighbors, let us through. My son's coming home.
Yes, let us through.
It's the Widow Donald.
Aye, let them through.
Come on, stand aside.
Oh, I can see nothing. The waves in the dark. Eileen, do you see?
No, there's nothing.
Oh, someone tell me. What do you see out there? Where am I from?
Up there to the north, Widow Donald. There, through the Tiger Rock.
Yes. Yes, Mother Donald. I see them. I see.
Here. Where? Point it out to me, girl. Where?
There. Follow my finger. Oh, blessed Mary, they're coming back.
Eileen, if only my eyes were young and sharp again. Can you see them both? Both, my son?
No. I can't quite. Just the boat, and it lifts and falls in the trough of the waves so quickly, I can't.
Ah! Eileen, what is it? What do you see?
One. There's only one boat.
No! What are you saying, girl? Only one in the boat?
Yeah, the girl's right. There's only one in the boat.
Which one is it?
I can't make out.
Hey, you told me I'll pet it. Into the surf with you and give them a hand now. Hey, get back there. That way.
Oh, Mother Donald. Are you hurt? Are you all right?
I'm all right. My sons. Where are my sons?
The wave. The wave that brought the boat.
The boat. Oh, which one? Which one?
I know it's Thomas. I know it.
Yes, Thomas, the good Thomas. Stand aside, everybody. Let the Widow Donald and the girls.
Let them through. The mother and her guide.
Yes. Let me through. Which one is it? Which son is it?
Well, I'm back, Mother.
Paddy! Hi, she fainted.
Oh, look. Stand back, will you now? Stand back.
You,
Every one of you.
I me. Ain't I got a right to live?
Tell me quick. Where is my son Thomas? Tell me, Paddy, where is my Thomas?
Where do you think he is, woman? Dead. At the bottom of the sea.
Stand closer about me, good neighbor. Let her be quiet now. No weeping until the services for our dear departed are over. It is right that we should stand here on the cliff to say the last words for the soul of the one whom the sea has taken to the Lord. Back in the great cities of men, where few of us have been, there are great cathedrals that reach to the sky. If there was such a cathedral here in the island, we would pray for Thomas Donnell in it. But this bare ground is our cathedral. For 'tis spoken in truth, as you know, that once on this place there rose a mighty church of God, built by the hands of a strange race of men that lived on these islands before our fathers and their fathers' fathers. A mighty cathedral. And one night these people committed a horrible sin, and the sea rose high as this cliff and covered the church and drew it down into the sea. You know the legend well. There is a cathedral under the sea, at the base of this place where we stand. And if a great wrong is to be done on these islands, bells under the water ring and ring until men cannot bear the sound of it, and the very heavens tremble with the glory of God and the glory of righteousness. So I say that if there was a wrong done on the sea to Thomas Donnell, I know in my heart that the bells would have rung, and yet they are silent. So we know that Thomas Donnell died in righteousness. And now, the time has come to take this wreath of sweet-smelling fern and throw it to the waters that are Thomas Donnell's grave. Goodbye to you, Thomas Donnell. The Lord in his wisdom has buried you in the boundless grave of the ocean. We have the memory of you. The sea has your body, and the Lord your soul. Blessed are they that mourn for you, for they shall be comforted.
Aye, but she's young, and young tears go quickly.
Eileen, girl, why must you weep all the day?
Go away. Go away, Patty Dump.
I'm thinking there's winter in the air. Eh? Eileen, girl.
I've no feeling for talk, Patty Dump.
The snow's so deep.
Let me walk with you, girls.
Yes, you must, Paddy Donald.
Look, I brought you the first spring flower, Eileen. You know there's a kiss with it.
Ah, away with you, Paddy Donald.
It's a fine, warm day, Eileen. A day to be happy in.
Yes, it's a fine day.
Do you like the tale I've told you?
Ah, Paddy, you've a tongue in you for a tall story.
There's some I could tell that would be told with my heart.
Oh, no, Paddy.
Give me your hand, Eileen.
You took it, why
I want more.
No.
All these months I closed them out of me to keep from saying it. I want you, Eileen.
Oh, Paddy, how can you say?
Why not? Why not?
Thomas, your brother.
But he wanted me to have you.
What?
He did. You've heard me tell the story. The boat turned over. He was drowning. I tried to save him.
Yes. Yes.
Before he went under, he cried out, Eileen, take care of her. So marry me, Eileen. Thomas wanted that for you. I swear it. Marry me. Marry me. Marry me. Marry me. Marry me. Marry me.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Mother Donald, why do you sit here apart from all the rest and weep? My son, I don't love Paddy as I did dear Thomas. God rest his soul. But you know Thomas's dying words. I'm so lonely, Mother. Sometimes I think... Oh, Mother Donald, don't make it hard for me. All these weeks...
There's no wedding for him in the sea.
Stop saying that. He wanted me to be with Paddy. He did. He did. I don't know what to do. I don't.
We're waiting.
Let me be.
Talking to the old woman again, eh? What has she been saying to you?
Let her be.
Shut your mouth, you old crock. It's sick I am if you're weeping and wailing. Come, Eileen.
No, let go of her.
Please,
Get
Mother
away,
Donald,
kid.
don't.
My good Thomas loved her, and you shan't have her.
Listen to me, Mother. You may weep and you may wail as you've been doing since that day. But your blessed Thomas is dead and I'm living. And what Thomas wanted me to do, I'll do. I'm marrying Eileen. So if it's a wedding of your son you want to see, come down to the shore where my friends and the priest is waiting. A wedding, you hear me, Mother, and neither you or heaven or hell can stop me. All right, Father Donahue. Ready I am to be made a man with a wife. Come closer, neighbors. The wedding will be now instead of later, for it's impatient the girl is to be my wife, Eileen.
I'm cold.
Cold, did you say, with me next to you, and the sun warm in the sea, and the fog's as heavy as my hand after the wedding. Now, what's the matter with all of you? You stand there as if I was talking of burying instead of wedding. Well, I say the devil with you.
Eddie, you're drinking, you.
I say it again, the devil with all of you with your long faces. Look at that fog and look at the water. It's a day for a king of the sea. And I'm a king. Marrying the girl I've always wanted. Kiss me, girl.
No, please.
Kiss me. I'm marrying you. Let them all see. Everyone hear. In the sky and the fog and the sea.
Who cried out? Who was it?
It's the widow Donald. It's Katie Donald.
Let me through, Katie. Kate Donald, what is it? Stop my wedding, she is. Well, you won't.
Wait!
Listen.
To what?
Listen.
There's nothing to hear. Father Donahue, come away. Read the wedding service.
Listen.
Mother of God. Father Donahue, why do you say that? What's the matter with you? Why do you stand there with your jaw hanging? Eileen, you too standing there. Answer me, what's the matter with you?
I hear it.
You what? Have you gone deaf? All of you, why are you standing there so still? What are you up to?
All of them here, but you.
Hear what? Hear what? Answer me, someone. What do you hear and what?
Mother of God. Out of the sea.
What's out of the sea? You're crazy, all of you.
On your knees, my children.
On your knees? Why are you praying? Someone tell me. What is it you're listening to?
All of them here, but you evil one.
You what? What? Answer me. Answer me! Stop looking like that as if you're hearing something. There's nothing to hear. Nothing but the wind. Answer me, someone. What are you listening to? Whatever it is, I can't hear this. I can't. It's not deaf I am. I hear my voice. Then what are you listening to? I came here for my wedding to get Eileen, not to be driven out of my head by you. I kill you. I kill all of you. Get to your feet. Get off your knees. Tell me what you're hearing. Father Donahue, you tell me. What are you hearing?
From out of the sea.
What?
A great sin has been done by one of us. What the old man said was true. A great sin done, and out of the sea will come a great voice, and the heavens will tremble.
Stop talking. My wedding.
There can be no wedding. A great sin has been done. Listen and pray.
Pray? I don't know praying. Why should I pray? Get to your feet and read my wedding. You're crazy, all of you. There's nothing to hear. There's nothing. Wait. I do hear something from the sea. Louder. Louder. I hear it. A voice. His voice. His voice. His voice. His voice.
Someone calling.
Out of the sea.
Quiet, everyone, quiet, so we can hear.
His voice.
Look, a boat coming through the fog.
Oh, it's Thomas.
Oh, it's my Thomas. It's my Thomas. Come.
No, not Thomas. It can't be Thomas.
Help the boat in. It's Thomas. Oh, Thomas, my son. Thomas, I'm coming to you. Look, a boat coming through the fog. Can't be Thomas, Thomas. You won't let him. It's Thomas, Thomas. No, he's dead. What's the eyes? He's dead.
Dead, Thomas. Dead. Go back to the dead. I killed you. You're dead.
Mother.
No. Not dead, Thomas. Dead. I killed you. Go back to the dead.
Mother.
No, you won't get me dead thing. No, get away. I'll run.
My mother. Thomas, come back.
Eileen, dear.
And you, Father Johnny.
Have the dead arisen?
No, I'm flesh and blood, good Father. He left me in the sea for dead, that devil I called brother. I knew what I knew. But a trawler fished me out and shook the water out of me for the heart, and he stopped.
Oh, my son.
And then they took me to the main. But I had no money. It took me all this time to get back. Now, let go of me, Mother. And you, Eileen, there's a score to be settled with him.
No, son, no.
There's a score to be settled.
The evil one, believe
Aye,
me.
Thomas, aye. Look, all your friends, they're afraid to come close. Afraid of the miracle.
And miracle it was. The fog's so thick out there. My boat, I almost ran on the rocks till I heard the bell.
Blessed bell.
Why do you say that? Why, what were those bells that guided me here? There are no such on the island. Why do you look at me like that? Father, you tell me. What were those bells?
They said there is a cathedral under the sea at this place where we stand. And if a great wrong is to be done in these islands, the bells under the water ring and ring until men cannot bear the sound of it, and the very heavens tremble with the glory of God and the glory of righteousness.
Tonight's play, The Engulfed Cathedral, was especially written for radio by Art Oboler and featured Raymond Edward Johnston, Ann Shepard, Adelaide Klein, Chester Stratton, Basil Logren, and Helen Brooks. Next week, we bring you a new play titled Baby, featuring Miss Irene Wicker. Art Oboler's Plays. On the Winds of the Night, we bring you a story, whispered in the night. Art Oboler's Plays are presentations of the National Broadcasting Company, RCA Building, Radio City, New York.
Wait a minute. Have you heard the weird tales of the Whistler?
I'm the Whistler.
There's something wrong. Terribly wrong. I'm going to wait a few more days, and when I'm sure, I'm going to take care of you, Joe.
Well, what do you mean?
I'm going to kill you.
Sunday night, and again CBS presents The Whistler.
I, the Whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak. And so tonight I tell you the bewildering story of Mirage. Fred Adams is an attorney, a promising young attorney. Fred is a specialist, for his practice has been limited to nightclubs and bars. In other words, Fred is what is called a mouthpiece. He steps gaily down the street tonight, unaware of the two men leaning against the black sedan parked in the shadows between the lampposts.
Hi, Fred. What's your hurry?
Huh? Oh, hello, Joe. What are you and Mike doing in this end of town?
We're waiting for you, Fred. Thought you might like to take a little ride.
Ride?
Yeah, the boss wants to have a little talk with you, Fred.
Not tonight. I'm busy. Got an appointment.
The boss would like to talk with you, Fred. Get in.
I told you I'm busy. I'll drop around tomorrow.
What are you so busy about, Fred?
How'd you like a poke in the nose?
Get in the car, Fred.
Let go of me, you hood.
We ain't kidding. Get in.
What would you two guys do without a gun?
Get in.
Okay.
15 minutes later, Fred makes his way through the crowded tables of the Swank Tripoli Cafe toward a door marked manager. He hesitates a moment, glances at the two men beside him, and knocks. Across the room, a beautiful woman sits behind the desk, toying with a long cigarette holder.
Come in, Freddie. Come in.
Well, we got him, boss. And where do you think he was? Over on Park Avenue.
How fancy. Wait outside, Joe. I want to talk to Freddie. Alone.
Yeah.
Sit down, Fred.
Well, what's wrong? You in trouble again, Gloria?
Would it matter to you if I were in trouble?
Of course it would.
Where have you been the past week?
Has it been a week since I saw you last?
You know it has. And a week is too long to suit me, Freddie.
Well, you know my phone number. If anything had happened, you'd have found me.
Doesn't make me very happy to think I have to go out looking for you. Kind of lets me down.
Oh, for the love of Pete. What happened?
Nothing's happened here at the cafe.
Oh, what's the matter then?
It's you, Fred. It's what you've done.
I haven't done anything.
Why do you think I paid your way through law school?
Well, because you wanted to. And because you needed a lawyer around.
Is that all?
I don't know.
I thought we were together in this thing for keeps.
Well, yeah. I'm still your attorney. What else do you expect of me?
You have the nerve to sit there and say that. You know how I feel about you. You've always known.
We've always been pals, good friends.
Pals? Friends? Oh, Freddie.
Now, what are you trying to say?
I knew for the past 3 weeks that you were changed. Couldn't figure it out. But I found out this afternoon. Here it is in the paper. District Attorney's daughter to wed young lawyer.
Well, what about it?
Are you really in love with her, Fred?
Certainly. Why shouldn't I be?
I don't think you are. I knew you were campaigning for the DA in this last election. I know you're ambitious. I think you've got your eyes on a job in the DA's office, more than you have on the girl.
I tell you, I love Brenda Gibson, and you can think whatever you like.
Is she pretty?
Very pretty. Young.
I don't like the way you said that, Fred. I'm not so old.
I didn't mean it that way. You're a very beautiful woman, Gloria.
Am I?
But, well, I don't know what it is. You've done everything in the world for me. No one could ask for more. And I've always cared more for you than any woman I've ever known. Until now. But there's something about Brenda. That, well, she's so different.
Go on.
I hate to say this to you, but I've got to make you understand. Brenda's intelligent. She comes from a fine family. She has culture.
And I came up from the chorus.
Now, Gloria, I didn't expect you to take it this way.
Well, how did you expect me to take her?
I didn't think you were really in love with me. It never occurred to me that you had any ideas about marriage.
What do you think I am, a totem pole?
I looked at our association more as a business arrangement. You financed me through school, and when I got up in the money, I'd pay you back.
Oh, Fred, don't say any more.
I know I've been blunt, but how else can I tell you? What else can I say?
There's nothing you can say, but I'll tell you something. You're getting out of your element. You don't belong there. You belong here with me. And if you marry her, you'll live to regret the day you met her.
Now, look. Don't be like that. Don't be a hard loser.
You'd be better off dead.
You don't mean that, Gloria?
No. No, Fred, I didn't mean that. Oh, darling, please go before I say any more. I know I haven't a chance, but please go.
I'm sorry, Gloria. Terribly sorry.
Bye, Fred.
I'll be seeing you. Goodbye, Gloria.
Now, a week later, the papers are filled with stories and pictures of Fred and Brenda and the district attorney, and parties and dinners and teas. Read them, Gloria. Pore over them. Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Adams this and Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Adams that. Read them, Gloria. Read them and weep. Meanwhile, on a train to Miami.
And Fred, darling, after we spend a few days in Miami, we can fly over to Nassau. Father has a place there, and I know some wonderful people. We can have a great time. Fred,
Oh, what did you say?
Snap out of it, darling. We're on our honeymoon.
Yes, Brenda, I'm sorry. I know we're going to have a swell time.
My sister Nella's spending the summer at Nassau.
Why didn't Nella come home for the wedding? She was to be your bridesmaid.
I told you, dear, you can't always get transportation just when you want it these days.
After all, Nella's your only sister. She could have made an extra effort.
What are you thinking about?
Oh, business.
Business? What business?
I was thinking about my new job. How did your father happen to make a place for me in the DA's office?
I suppose he thinks you're a capable young attorney.
Did you ask him to appoint me?
Well, I may have had something to do with it. I wanted you to start out right. You don't mind, do you?
Certainly not. Well, swell of you. I only hope I can make good.
You will. And who knows, maybe you'll be the district attorney yourself someday.
I hope so. At least I'll break my neck trying.
Oh, let's forget about everything for the next 2 weeks, but
I love you so very much, Brenda.
Darling, I'll spend all my waking moments trying to make you happy.
Thanks, dear.
You'll never regret the day you met me.
What did you say?
I said you'd never regret the day you met me.
Oh. I should say I won't. Not a chance in a million.
Now the happy honeymoon is over, and Fred and Brenda are back home. Fred is in the district attorney's office and progressing nicely. But Gloria, poor Gloria, still sits in her office at the Tripoli and broods over her fate. She scans every item in the society columns, searching for news about Fred and Brenda. And every item, every picture nurtures her resentment. And her resentment slowly turns to hate. And finally something snaps in her mind and she begins to harbor thoughts of revenge. Yes, revenge.
Joe! Joe!
Yeah? What are you yelling about, Gloria?
I wasn't yelling. Close the door.
Sure sounded like yelling to me.
I said I wasn't yelling.
Okay. I apologize.
No, sit down.
Oh, look, Gloria, what's eating you? Why don't you get out of this office? Go out and visit with the customers the way you used to.
Why should I?
Well, they all miss you. They're all asking, where's Gloria? I run out of excuses.
I didn't call you in here to talk about the business.
Well, maybe not, but I thought it was time I said something.
Where's the evening paper?
I didn't get it.
Why not?
Oh, look, Gloria, snap out of it, will you? Why don't you quit hunting for news about Fred? You're only driving yourself nutty. Fred was a nice guy, but he's gone. He's married. Forget him.
I can't.
Well, you could try.
It's not as easy as that.
After all, he ain't the only man walking around. There's one or two others, you know.
Yeah?
Well, there's one guy in particular who might get your mind off Fred, if you'd give him a chance.
Yeah? Who?
Well, I know I'm not as good looking as Fred, and I ain't got his fancy manners. But I like you just as much as he did. Probably a lot more.
Sorry, Joe.
At least I wouldn't walk out on you for any other dame.
If you did, I wouldn't blame you.
No?
No. I'd blame the other woman. She had no right to take him away from me. He belonged to me.
Oh, Gloria, please forget it.
No, I won't. I can't. I've made up my mind.
Huh? What are you thinking?
Where's your car?
Outside.
Where's your gun?
In my pocket.
Some people are giving a party at their country place tonight for Fred and his wife.
But, Gloria...
But Fred was called out of town on business. They're giving the party anyway. And she'll be there. Friends will be there.
So what?
You'll wait for her. And follow her when she leaves.
Wait a minute. Nothing doing. I ain't bumping off no woman.
Sit down and shut up.
You're crazy. You're gone absolutely nutty. I'm getting out of here.
You're driving me to that house.
I won't.
No? I wonder if the police would be interested in knowing who killed Lefty Hammond.
Gloria, you wouldn't.
Wouldn't I?
Well... Okay. You win.
Better. Go get in your car. I'll go out the back way and meet you in the alley.
Gloria and Joe sit in the car in the deep shadows of a spreading tree. The hours drag on, and then about 1:30 in the morning, the party breaks up and the cars begin to leave. Finally, Brenda comes through the gate, driving her own coupe.
There she is. That's Brenda. Get going, Joe.
Is she alone?
Yes, she's alone.
I sure wish you'd change your mind.
Don't get too close to her.
No, I ain't got nothing against her or Fred either. What good's this going to do you?
You wouldn't understand.
I think you've gone off your beam. Maybe you're cracked.
Shut up. I'm not crazy, if that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Drop back a little.
They say crazy people never think they're batty. You might feel different about this in the morning, Gloria. Maybe you ought to see a doctor. Oh! Cut it out. Cut it out. Where do you get off slapping people?
Move along. You're losing her.
Well, lay off that rough stuff. Or I might decide to change my mind about the whole thing.
Nah, you won't change your mind.
It'd be funny if something happened to you.
If anything happens to me, there's a letter in my safe that tells all about you. So you better see that I get back to the AAA.
Okay. I was only kidding.
Yeah. We're coming along to that long stretch now. No cars behind us and none coming. Step on it now. Run her off the road. Now, run her off in that ditch.
Say, what's the idea? Are you trying to wreck me?
Get out of that car.
What is this, a hold-up?
Get out and shut up.
I haven't anything but a couple of rings.
Take her rings, Joe.
Well, this is a new one. A woman bandit.
Any money in your purse?
A few dollars.
Take the money and scatter the rest of the things around.
Yeah.
Now, ruffle up her hair, Joe. Muss her up.
You take your hands off me.
Oh, have a heart, Gloria.
Okay. I muss her up, but good.
What are you? What's the meaning of this? You got what you want. Why did you let me alone?
I'll let you alone, Mrs. Adams.
Who are you?
Start walking.
What?
Start walking off through those trees.
I won't. Stop.
Get moving.
What are you going to do?
See to it that you don't do any more chiseling in, Mrs. Fred Adams.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Walk. Let her have it, Joe. Now, what are you stalling for? You missed her. Give me that gun. Well, and that's the last of Mrs. Adams.
She's dead.
Yeah. There's your gun. Now, let's get out of here.
Oh.
Well, what's the matter? What are you waiting for?
I'm kind of dizzy. Kind of sick. I can't drive, Gloria. You better drive.
And I thought you were experienced at this business.
If I hadn't seen you do it, Gloria, nobody in the world could have made me believe it. Nobody.
Anything about it in this morning's paper, Joe?
No, not a thing about it. And it was the night before last, too. I can't understand it.
Are you sure she was dead?
Of course I'm sure. Well, what do you suppose could have happened? She couldn't have walked away. Say, maybe they haven't found her or the car yet, huh?
It's impossible. That's the main highway. Hundreds of cars pass there in the course of a few hours.
Well, maybe they've seen the car but just thought it was a wreck. Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Hey, you better lay off that stuff, Joe. You've been drinking for 2 days now.
Yeah, but I need it. I'm jittery. I got the willies like I never had before. Say, maybe I ought to drive by that place and see if the car's gone.
Okay. Get back as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure. I can't get it off my mind. I don't mind telling you. I'm scared.
Go on. And quit talking so much.
Gloria, I went out there.
Yeah, well, I know. What did you see?
Nothing. The car was gone. I looked all around for the spot. There wasn't a sign of anything. No trinkets, no blood marks, no nothing.
Well, then he must have found her.
But why don't they say something in the papers about it? If they just said something, I could stand it. It's driving me nuts.
Are you going to lay off that stuff?
No, I ain't. I need it.
I don't need it.
Yeah? I don't know what you're made of, but whatever it is, it's sure tough. I never knew a woman could be as tough. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
You're a jellyfish.
I can understand one guy rubbing out another one for doing something against the gang, but I never thought I'd see a woman do a thing like that. And for no good reason.
There was a reason. And shut up.
I couldn't have done a thing like that. You could have turned me in first. There she was, laying there, covered with...
Shut up!
It's funny, this stuff don't seem to have any effect on me. It's just like some water.
Get hold of yourself.
Poor kid. I never felt so miserable in all my life.
Did you get the late papers?
Yeah. Here you are. Well, anything in it?
No. Not a word.
Hey, Maybe we didn't do it, Gloria. Maybe it was just a nightmare.
No, we did it all right, and proper.
If I don't hear something soon, I'll go crazy.
Hey, wait a minute.
Huh? What is it? Did they find her?
No. Well, what do you know about that?
Well, what is it? What is it?
Look at this picture.
Holy smoke. It's her. It's her and Fred.
Mr. and Mrs. Fred Adams attend the races.
When?
Yesterday. It isn't possible.
But it's her. I know it's her, Gloria. How could she? She's dead. Hey.
What's the matter?
Maybe it's her.
Her ghost? Don't be silly.
I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving town.
Look. You're in the other paper.
Huh?
Day before yesterday. Fred Adams and wife attend tennis match.
And another picture.
What could this mean? What did they say something about it?
You see, Gloria, it's getting you down, too. Oh, please, Gloria, let's pull out.
It's uncanny. I can't believe it.
If it's in the papers, you gotta believe it.
Did you double-cross me, Joe?
What do you mean?
Did you have blanks in that gun?
Blanks? I'd certainly hate to get hit with what I had in that gun. She's dead, I tell you.
Well, she'd better be.
What'll we do?
You'll wait. That's all, just wait.
Okay. But I don't think I can stand it, Gloria. I'm going to pieces.
But they did wait. They waited for 2 more days, and Joe, fortified with his bottle, was able to hang on. Then Gloria began to crack under the strain of waiting.
Joe, I can't stand it any longer. I gotta do it.
Do what?
I'm gonna call Fred's apartment and see if she's there.
I wouldn't.
Hello? Is this the Adams apartment? Is Mrs. Adams there? An old friend from out of town. Yeah, thank you. She's there.
Holy gee.
She answered. I heard her. You lied to me, Joe.
I didn't lie. I didn't. I had bullets in that gun. I saw her and she was dead.
There's something wrong. Terribly wrong. I'm going to wait a few more days. I'll check again. And when I'm sure, I'm going to take care of you, Joe.
What do you mean?
I'm going to kill you.
That's crazy.
I don't think it would be safe to have you walking around and talking.
Gloria, listen.
Come on, we're going to my apartment and wait. The story's bound to break sooner or later.
I'd rather get out of town.
You're coming with me in my apartment. Get moving.
Then 3 more days of sleepless waiting. The tenseness grows and grows. The suspense is almost stifling. Poor Joe can neither sleep nor eat, and Gloria becomes pale and drawn. Then Joe finally emerges and goes on a little scouting tour about town to see what he can learn. Then on the next night, a knock at Gloria's apartment door.
Who is it?
It's me, Fred.
Fred? Wait a minute.
Hello, Gloria.
What do you want, Fred?
May I come in? I'd like to talk to you.
Yeah, of course. Come in.
It's rather late, but, well, I had to talk to you.
What about? I never expected to see you around here again.
Well, I was lonely. I had to talk to someone.
Lonely? Well, sit down, Fred.
Thanks. You look kind of tired, Gloria. What's wrong?
Well, since you mentioned it, you look a bit weary yourself. What's wrong with you?
Oh, nothing much. I sent you a check clearing up what I owed you. Did you get it?
Yeah. There's something wrong, Fred. What is it?
Oh, little trouble, that's all.
Sort of trouble.
Domestic?
Domestic? What do you mean? That isn't...
Isn't possible? Is that what you're going to say?
Yes, I thought you were quite happy with your wife.
Well, things can develop suddenly. I certainly found that out.
Well, what happened? Or do you want to tell me?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. Guess that's why I came here. You're always so darn understanding. You always knew the answers to things.
But what happened?
Well, I guess I really didn't belong in the upper crust. You had it figured out about right. Everything was all right until Brenda started to shape my career.
Shape your career?
Yes. She had everything all planned out for me. She and her father had it all figured out. I wanted to go into the DA's office and move up on my own initiative. They didn't want it that way. They wanted me to start out as a big shot.
Did she leave you?
Yes. We just agreed to disagree.
Oh. Well, where's she now?
Her father's place, I suppose.
When did she leave?
Yesterday?
Yesterday. Are you sure it was yesterday?
Of course. Why do you ask that?
Well, no reason, I suppose. I just can't believe it. Seems a shame. Well, I'm very sorry for you, Fred. Believe me. I know how you feel. I was let down with a dull thud once.
Were you?
You should know.
Oh, Gloria, I was such a fool. You were right. I should have listened to you. You could see what was coming, and I was too dumb to realize it. Have you forgiven me?
Yeah, Fred. I'd have to forgive you. I love you so much. I've never been able to forget you for one single moment.
I'm sorry, Gloria. Terribly sorry.
Fred, I've got a strange feeling. I don't know what it is, but I've got a feeling you're not telling me the truth.
What? You mean you don't believe me?
There is something you haven't told me. What is it?
Why, nothing. I've told you everything.
I don't believe you, Fred.
All right. Gloria, I'm in a tough spot. Brenda hasn't gone away. She's dead.
Dead? What on earth do you mean?
Yeah, she was found dead beside a car a number of days ago. The day after we had a nasty argument, but I didn't do it. There have been many threats against the district attorney and a member of his family. It may have been any one of a number of persons.
Nothing's been said about it in the paper.
I know it. They purposely kept it quiet, hoping the real killer would show his hand.
That's silly. Why should he?
I don't know. Oh, darling, it's all a mess. I'm completely worn out over it. I know they suspect me. I don't know what to do about it.
Gloria. I seen her. Who? She was standing under the lamppost at the corner. She spoke to me. She said, "Hello, Joe. How's Gloria?"
Shut up, you drunk.
No, it was her. It was Brenda. I ran for the elevator, and as the doors closed, she was coming into the lobby. She was terrible. Oh, pale and awful looking.
You simpleton, you got the snakes.
No, it was her. And she's coming up here. It's her. I don't want to see her. I can't look at her. I can't stand it.
Joe, turn on the lights.
I won't.
Turn on those lights.
Never mind the lights. I can see you. All three of you.
Brenda. What do you want?
So you, Gloria. Yes. Yes, I met you for the first time not many nights ago. On a deserted highway.
Joe, it is her.
Come out of the corner, Joe. I can see you. Joe, the man who pulled the trigger.
I didn't.
What do you want?
So, Fred, you were in on the plan, too. You wanted me out of the way because of Gloria. You were back of the whole thing.
No, Brenda, no. I had nothing to do with it.
You decided you'd made a mistake, that you wanted Gloria.
I didn't. I swear I didn't.
Tell him, Joe. Tell him how you shot me down. You had the gun. Tell him or I'll...
No. Get away from me. Don't touch me. I'll tell him. I didn't do it. She did it. Gloria did it. I couldn't. I didn't have the nerve.
He's lying. I didn't do it.
Go ahead, Joe. Spill it.
I ain't going to take the rap for this. Gloria went off her beam when you married Brenda. She went crazy with jealousy. She knew about that party, and she made me drive her out there. We followed Brenda and then ran her off the road. She tried to make me do it, but I couldn't. I fired wild, and Gloria grabbed the gun from me and let her have it.
He's lying.
How did she make you do it?
She threatened me. She's got something.
Shut up!
I don't care. She can tell what she knows about me, but I can prove that she killed Brenda.
How can you prove it, Joe?
I wore gloves. And I still have the gun, and the only fingerprints on it are Gloria's.
You did it!
I figured she might try to double-cross me.
What about it, Gloria?
All right, I did it. I shot her. I couldn't stand it any longer.
Turn on the lights, Joe.
Hey, she ain't dead. It's her. Brenda ain't dead.
Good Lord.
Oh, yes, Brenda's dead, all right. Quite dead.
And what is she?
You'll find out, Gloria. What a strange quirk of fate. It was your money that caused all this. It was you who put me through law school so that I could defend you. But now, I'm sorry to say I'll be forced to be your prosecutor. Sorry, Gloria. Terribly sorry.
Well, Gloria, you've come to the end of your rope. Things didn't work out as you'd planned. You really killed Brenda that night. But Fred got a brilliant idea. He had Nella, Brenda's twin sister, come up from Nassau and pose as his wife. That's how all the pictures appeared in the papers. And it was Nella who just walked in on you and got a confession. And how did Fred know you were the one? Well, there were several suspects. But you, Gloria, made the mistake of phoning for Brenda too many times. And the police traced your calls. Too bad, Gloria. Jealousy is a terrible thing.
CBS has presented The Whistler. Original music for this production is composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. The Whistler is written and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originates from Columbia Square in Hollywood. Next week, Sunday at 9:15...
I, the Whistler, will return to tell you the strange story out of the fog. Good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This is Orson Welles, speaking from London. Black Museum. A museum of death. Yes, here in the grim stone structure on the Thames which houses Scotland Yard is a warehouse of homicide, where everyday objects, a cotton reel, a tobacco pouch, a bootlace, all are touched by murder. Here's a shopping bag. Faded green canvas, square in shape, large enough to envelop a human head. There you are, sir. Would Madame like to take it? No? Nothing inside now. These wisps of blonde hair were found inside by the experts in the police laboratory, but that was a long time ago. Who did the hair belong to? Well, there was no doubt about that.
This is Vera Dawson's hair, Inspector. Victim number 5, eh?
Yes.
She's been in the habit of bleaching her hair for years. That's why it probably came out fairly easily.
And the pathetic blonde hairs prove that the canvas shopping bag had been used to suffocate their owner, victim number 5. That is why the bag has earned its place today in the Black Museum.
From the annals of the Criminal Investigation Department of the London Police, we bring you the dramatic stories of the crimes recorded by the objects in Scotland Yard's Gallery of Death, the Black Museum.
Museum. Beyond these stone walls, London throbs and is alive. But within these closely guarded precincts, all is silence, death. It's quiet, very quiet. Come with me under the frieze of death masks. The masks of criminals of bygone days, suspended grimly below the ceiling. They were collected at a time when the forensic theorists believed that a composite face made up of the dominant characteristics of hundreds of criminal features would resolve into a picture of the typical criminal. But in 1913, the experts decided that the masks presented nothing different from your face or mine, the average law-abiding citizen. Did you say something? Now, up there, you know that face. Yes, it's Heinrich Himmler, the German Gestapo chief. That mask was taken a few hours after he bit into a vial of potassium cyanide as he stood before his British captors at Lüneburg. And perhaps you may feel easier if you keep your eyes lowered as we pass along the rows of inanimate objects, each one marked with the names of the killer and the killed. Some of the exhibits are labeled with more than 2 names. Here we are. We've arrived at the shopping bag. 1 killer, Stanley Haynes. 5 victims, including his wife, who is his second on the list. Here's the bag, insignificant in itself, but terrifying when considered in relation to its history. And its history is bound up with the story of the man who used it. Stanley Haynes, one-time bank clerk, petty thief, junk merchant, murderer, hanged by his shopping bag. But let's go back to join him in his junk shop. It's located in Wildron Street, North London. The place belonged to his wife's first husband. The district is poor, the shop is dusty, crammed with litter. Mrs. Edith Haynes, a semi-invalid, is confined to a bed in the living quarters upstairs. Haynes himself has just lighted the gas lamp in the shop. The feeble yellow rays are reflected back from the November fog which presses darkly against the windows. The light is dim. But to a young girl, Patricia Wilson, is a beacon to which she turns for guidance.
Oh, my word, what a night. I wonder if you can help me.
Well, if I can.
I'm a stranger here, and I'm looking for 71 Wildron Street. I can't see the numbers on the doors. My torch has given out.
This is number 22. You'll find 71 to the left on the other side of the road.
Oh, tell.
Fog's getting thicker, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm afraid it is.
You'll have a job to find the house you're looking for.
Oh, no. I promised to go and see my girlfriend there. I wish I hadn't. It was quite clear when I left home.
Have you come far?
Only from Vauxhall, and
Well, perhaps I can fix your torch for you.
Oh, I'll be ever so glad. If you do happen to have a spare bulb, that'd do it. Here's the torch.
Yes.
Here. Let go my arm.
What's your name?
Here, let me go. Oh, I'll hit you again if you don't take your hands off me.
You would you? You come here.
Help!
Quiet, you little idiot.
Oh, you're choking me.
How did you get down here?
Who is this girl? Take him away. He's trying to kill me.
Don't be absurd. She's only just come
Don't
in.
put in that shopping bag and pull yourself together. Let me get out of here. No, wait. I'm his wife. I want to know what happened.
Breathlessly, the frightened girl explained. Haynes stood silent. His wife listened, horrified. The girl finished her story.
What did you do, Sam?
I've nothing to say except I'm sorry.
So I should think. But you're not getting away with this. I'm going to report it to the police. But you're not safe. Oh, please. Now, please, for my sake, don't take it any further. I think it would kill me if the police came. If she's fainting, I'll go out.
Take it easy, Edith. I've got you.
I'm all right. Well, she's ill. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Go and get a doctor. Oh, no, I don't want anybody. Oh, please tell me you won't make trouble. Well, for your sake, then, I won't tell anyone. Thank you. Hope it didn't hurt you too much. No, I'm feeling better now. More shock than anything else. Would you like to say anything? Not a word.
In her efforts to avoid a scandal, Edith Haynes had signed her own death warrant. Police intervention at this stage might have prevented her husband from following the path which leads to the scaffold. As it was, Patricia Wilson kept her promise and nothing happened. The weeks passed, and slowly in the dark mind of Stanley Haynes, strange ideas began to take shape. The brief encounter had triggered off a demon that must be satisfied. And at last, the fatal opportunity presented itself in the comely form of a Miss Sylvia Parks, age 27.
Good evening. Can I see the second-hand dolls pram you got advertised in the window?
Yes, it's at the back of the shop if you'd like to have a look.
My sister's little girl. She's 8 tomorrow, and I can't afford much.
Well, this is a bargain. I only picked it up 2 days ago. There it is.
Oh, what? I don't think much of that. I thought there was a catch.
Oh, you have a good look at it. You won't do better for the money.
Oh, no. That wants painting. Here. What are you doing? Oh.
This time there was no noise to attract the attention of the invalid upstairs. With one powerful hand over his victim's mouth, Hames reached for the canvas shopping bag. Slipping it over her head, he drew the cords tight. And there was silence.
It stopped. I must get her out of sight. Gently does it. Edith mustn't hear. Now, loosen the floor post by the back door. I must put it down quickly.
Sylvia Parks disappeared into the 4-foot cavity between the foundations of the building and the floorboards above the ground floor. But although Mrs. Hames may have heard nothing upstairs, she must have sensed the horror below. Quite suddenly, before her husband could replace the boards, she appeared at the door, leaning heavily on her stick for support.
What's that?
Hans, what is that?
Nothing, Heaven. Why the devil you creep up on me? I can't stand it. Get back where you belong.
You've done something.
Get out.
What are you doing down there?
I thought I smelled gas. I've been looking at the pipes.
That woman's hat on the floor. Where is she?
Get out! Get out!
She's down there. I could see her foot.
Edith Hames lay silent in death beside the body of Sylvia Parks. And what of the murderer? Was the demon satisfied? Seems that for the moment he was. According to Hames' own story, he took himself off that night at the local public house. Felt that he needed company. Live company.
All right. If it isn't the old junk man himself. How's business, chum?
Business is fine.
Well, you wouldn't think so looking at that shop of yours. It looks like a blooming morgue. Why don't you give it a good clear out, eh?
If you'll look after your own affairs, I'll attend to mine.
All right, I was only kidding. Here, have a drink.
Now. Yes, I will. I'll have a large Scotch.
Oh, getting your own back, eh? All right, I asked for it. Large Scotch for Mr. Hames, please, Sally.
Okay, celebrating, are you?
Yes, I'm celebrating.
Here, how's that wife of yours? Is she any better?
My wife? Oh, yes, she's much better now.
Oh, I'm glad about that. She used to be a regular in here when she was married to... Well, I've known her a long time, of course.
Yes, longer than I have.
Well, tell her Joe was looking after her, will you? Me and the missus have promised to come round and see her one night.
Oh, well, didn't you know she's going to stay with her married sister in Birmingham?
Has she? I never knew she had a sister up there.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, here's your drink. Bottoms out. Now I see why you're out on the loose.
Oh, cheerio. Yes, I needed that.
Whoa, it's not much fun living on your own, is it? Oh, I'm as miserable as sin when Mom Mrs. pops over to see her mother. Still, it's better than having the old ma popping round to see us. Oh, not that I don't like it.
It's not much fun living on your own. Hames discovered that in spite of the fact that he was not exactly alone in his dark little shop. There were too many shadows. The mice playing amongst his shabby merchandise would startle him. But without money, there was no escape. So he decided to let the back bedroom, and he advertised it discreetly in a small journal which was not circulated in his home district. His lodger would have to be a complete stranger, and so he turned out to be. But he couldn't escape from the faded canvas shopping bag, which has earned its place so well in the Black Museum. We return to Stanley Hames in his shop at 22 Wildern Street. The advertisement for a room to let has produced its result, and the back bedroom is occupied by a short, middle-aged man with square shoulders and wary eyes. He calls himself George Smith, which is as good as any other name, but Hames is suspicious. The lodger never ventures out except for brief moments during the hours of darkness. He behaves like a man who has something to hide. And Stanley Hames, now desperately short of money, decides to cash in on his opportunity.
Who's there?
Only me. Want to speak to you.
What do you want? Oh, I hope you find the room comfortable.
Suits me.
Yes, it's well tucked away, isn't it? Nobody would look for you here.
What are you getting at?
Nothing. But I'm afraid I've got to increase your rent.
Ah, it's like that, is it?
Yes, it is. I'm no fool.
You dirty little runt, I could break you in half.
Think so? I've got strong hands, you know. And if I did happen to disappear, things would become even more complicated for you, wouldn't they?
I don't know what the devil you're talking about.
Well, I'm increasing your rent from £1 a week to £5 a week.
Oh, and you see,
if you don't like it, you can get out.
I see. All right. I'll give you £3. That's my limit.
It's 5 all out. For 5, you get food and protection.
So you found out who I am, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your turn. Here's your first, Father.
The bluff has worked. Haynes had no idea that his lodger was, in point of fact, Gary Saunders, a wanted man. His partner had squealed on him following a vicious case of robbery with violence. Now every policeman in the country was on the lookout for him. But how infinitely safer he would have been in jail. As it was, his hush money restored Haynes to his old self, and once again, the demon started working. Towards the end of January, the murderer met a painted lady who agreed to visit his home. It was during the night that Smith, alias Saunders, was awakened sharply from an uneasy slumber. He jumped from his bed, crossed the narrow landing, and burst into the room which he knew Haynes occupied. It was a pretty clear case of murder.
By heavens, take that thing off her head. How dare you come in here? Take that bag over. Get out of the way. Stop. Stop. You pay for that. She's dead. You've killed her.
Yes. She's dead, isn't she? But who did it? You or me?
What do you mean, you murdering devil?
I happen to have a clean record. My word will carry more weight than yours, I imagine.
Oh, you'd frame me, would you? You are not fit to live, Ames. Why, Thunder, I'm going to get the police. I'll take what's coming to me. But you're going to swing for this?
I don't think so.
Drop that knife.
I'm not going to swing for you or anybody else. Nobody knows she was here, and nobody knows you're here.
Get back, get back. Now.
No, don't do it.
I told you I had strong hands.
You didn't think I was strong enough, did you? Now you've learned your lesson. I can't be beaten.
Sylvia Parks, Edith Haynes, the unknown lady who was subsequently identified as a Mrs. Doris Luke, and Gary Saunders. 4 victims. And to avoid the trouble of dragging the last 2 down the stairs to the burial ground under the shop floor, Haynes shut them away in a cupboard in the bathroom. After that, he cleaned up and discovered nearly £2,000 in notes which Saunders had hidden away in his back bedroom. This decided him to take what he considered to be a well-earned holiday. But before he went, he added yet another victim to his list, Vera Dawson, of the bleached hair. We don't know how she was lured into his death shop, but we do know that she left some of her hair inside the canvas shopping bag. And at this point, I will hand you over to a young man who was the key witness in the case against Mr. Haynes. He's Mr. Peter Johnson.
My wife and I were the unfortunate couple who rented the Haynes shop. When we met him, he seemed to be just an ordinary sort of chap. He told us he'd redecorated the whole place and was going off to Birmingham to join his wife.
Well, for years, you know. Her sister's been very good, but I've decided to find a little place in the country for her.
Well, that's probably the best thing.
As you see, the shop's empty now, and I've cleared all my old stuff out, and I think it looks quite nice and bright, don't you?
Oh, yes. I think it's just what we've been looking for, don't you, Peter?
There you are, Mr. Haynes. The wife likes it. We're in.
Oh, good. I'm sure you'll be very happy.
You wanted 6 months' rent in advance, I believe.
That's right.
I'll write you a check now.
You haven't got cash?
Oh, not for that amount, but the check won't bind.
Oh, no, of course not.
Well, here it is. It's all ready for you. We really made up our minds to take the place yesterday, you see, but, well, Dooley wanted to come back today just to make sure.
Well, I know you're going to be happy here. We've been happy. Here are the keys. Now I'll leave you to sort things out on your
It was 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, so Stanley Haynes was fortunately unable to cash the check as the banks were then closed until the Monday morning. In the meantime, Peter and Julie Johnston were having a busy weekend. They camped in the front bedroom for the night, and early on Sunday, the young wife was measuring the floors for carpeting, while her husband was fixing a glass-fronted cabinet in the bathroom.
What's the matter, darling?
Oh, I've hit my finger with a hammer.
Oh, have you hurt yourself?
No, just flattened my first finger. Oh, but, this is funny.
I'm glad you're cheerful about it.
No, I mean the wall here.
Don't do that, Peter. You're marking the paper.
It's hollow. There must have been a cupboard here, and old Hames has covered it in for some reason.
I say, we could do with a cupboard. There isn't one in the whole place.
Well, there's one here, all right. But I'd have to redo the wall if I opened it up.
Oh, you'd better leave it then.
Just pass me that chisel. There's a sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I'll just open a little hole and see how big it is inside. It might not be worth opening the whole thing.
Oh, careful. Perhaps Mr. Hames will be angry if he comes back and finds what you've done.
Oh, don't worry about him. I've paid him enough rent anyway. Here it comes. Good. Now, give me the torch, will you?
Here you are.
Thanks. Yes, there's bags of room behind here. We'll soon see it.
Oh, Peter, what is it?
I think I'm going to be ill.
Oh, darling.
Get out of here. Go on. Right outside.
Why? Why?
I can't talk. Just get right out into the street.
Oh.
Quick, come on.
The police were on the spot within a matter of minutes. As their cars roared into Wildren Street in answer to Peter Johnston's call, curtains fluttered in front windows, and a growing crowd appeared quickly outside number 22.
Are you Mr. Johnston, sir?
Yes, that's right. This is my wife.
I'm Inspector Denton. Perhaps the lady had better stay out here while you show us the way up.
Yes, sir, of course.
I gather you took possession yesterday.
Yes, I only wish we'd never seen the place. This is the bathroom. Have a look through that little hole in the wall.
Right. Give me your torch, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Whew. Well, I've seen a few things in my time, Mr. Johnston, but this is about my lot. I understand why you're so upset.
This is the works, is it, sir?
I'll say it is. There's 3 of them in here. A man and 2 women. You better go down to your wife while we take the whole wall down, Mr. Johnston. We haven't seen the half of it yet.
In point of fact, the inspector had seen rather more than half of it. The bodies of Sylvia Parks and Edith Hames were discovered under the shop floor a few hours later. By that time, the whole building was being methodically opened up. Floors were lifted, chimneys explored, the foundations and a small patch of garden were being dug, and the word went out to get Stanley Hames.
We managed to obtain a photograph of him from one of his neighbors, but we were dealing with a wily customer. Even before he knew the chase was on, he'd shaved the top of his head, which gave the impression of baldness. And he put on horns and spectacles, which completely changed his appearance. He heard on the radio that the balloon had gone up sooner than he expected, and by then he was well away from London. Those notes which Jerry Saunders got on his last job, Superintendent, I've got the numbers.
Good. And there's no possibility of the money being hidden away in 22 Wildren Street?
No, sir. Hames got it all right, and it won't be long before he starts passing some of it.
Yes, we better notify every area in the country. As soon as one of those notes is traced, we'll be on the Hames trail. He might be in disguise, or he might be lying low. But he's got to spend money, and that's how we're going to find him.
For obvious reasons, no mention of the money was disclosed in the press. So Stanley Hames was unaware that he was carrying his own death sentence in the canvas shopping bag, which also contained his spare clothing. Yes, he had taken the bag with him. Perhaps it had a morbid fascination. Perhaps he thought he might use it again. But anyway, it made a convenient carrier. Convenient for him and, as it transpired, convenient for the police.
Days after the murders were discovered, I had a call from a young lady named Patricia Wilson. She told me how the previous November she'd been caught out in a fog and gone into the Hames junk shop for directions. She told me how he'd attacked her and how his wife had pleaded that she shouldn't report it to the police.
Oh, I made a terrible mistake. But I had to come and tell you.
We're very grateful to you, Miss Wilson. Now, if you can cast your mind back, I'd like you to try and tell me every little detail of what happened and what was said.
Well, the first words are really that Mrs. Hames speaks sounded sort of funny and out of place.
Oh, how is that?
He got one hand on his throat when she'd come in, and he was fiddling about with something over my head. She said to him, she said, "Stop waving that shopping bag and pull yourself together," she said.
I see.
You suppose he was trying to pull the bag over your head?
Oh, my goodness, I never thought of that.
What sort of bag was it?
Green canvas thing, the string round the top.
You traced anything like it amongst the stuff he disposed of, Inspector? No, sir. No bags or cases. Yeah, and it's just possible he might still have the bag with him. Better add that to the general description. Yes, sir. Right away.
A detail, a flimsy possibility. But every step had to be taken that might help to trace the murderer. Then, after nearly a week of suspense, the first stolen note was reported right in London. Ames had come back to hide amongst the teeming millions in the great city. The search was concentrated now, and after 9 days on the run, Ames was caught. It was the canvas bag which attracted the attention of a plainclothes officer. It made him concentrate on the man's face. And, taking a chance, he approached him.
Excuse me, sir. Yes? I'm a police officer. I'm sorry to trouble you, but I wonder if you'd just remove those glasses for a moment. All right. There you are. Are you Stanley Hames? No, you've made a mistake. Perhaps you'd come along to the station with me. We may not keep you for long. Suppose I refuse. I'll still have to take you. Okay.
Hames went like a lamb, and once inside the station, he readily admitted his identity. The murderer was found, and the chase was over. All because of a faded green canvas shopping bag, which has earned its place today in the Black Museum.
Orson Welles will be back with you in just a moment.
Hames was a killer because it was his desire to kill. Except in the case of his one male victim, he killed coldly and ruthlessly. He had no pity. In fact, as we know, he would celebrate his murders. At his trial, he was obviously pleased to be the center of attraction, and for some reason he confessed to every detail relating to his first 4 murders. But with regard to his 5th victim, Vera Dawson, he would say nothing. But the evidence was in the back.
This is Vera Dawson's hair, Inspector. Victim number 5, eh? Yes. She's been in the habit of bleaching her hair for years. That's probably why it came out fairly easily.
So Stanley Hames went to the scaffold, and the pathetic blonde hairs lie beside the faded green shopping bag in the Black Museum. Now, until we meet again sometime in the same place, I tell you another story about the Black Museum. I remain, as always, obedient to you.
Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring tonight 2 of radio's foremost actors, Eric Dressler and John Sylvester, in an original radio drama titled Murder is My Business.
This is The Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can. Our story tonight begins in a huge white mansion overlooking the Hudson River, some 50 miles above New York City. In a large, comfortable room, David Phillips, a slender, nervous man in his early 30s, is seated at a desk, typing.
Dear Julia, a year has passed since we last saw each other, and I'm writing this letter with the hope that you will understand all that I'm about to reveal, and understanding will forgive me. I'm a writer, darling, and yet I find it difficult to put into words the horrible events of the past year. As they flash through my mind, I can feel the quickening of my pulse, and the hatred within me surges up as overwhelmingly as... But I mustn't think of that. It's much more important that you understand what has happened. It all began the day I was in my study, writing a script for the Dangerous Adventure radio show.
Darling, it's for you.
Who is it?
It's Basil King.
Basil King?
Dave, wait a minute. I want to talk to you.
But, honey, Basil King, I can't keep him waiting.
Yes, you can.
Well, we'll talk fast.
King's looking for a writer for his radio show, isn't he?
Yeah, Sig Rodman just quit.
Quit? You mean he had a nervous breakdown? And so has every other writer who's ever worked for Basil King. Dave, I don't want you to write for him.
But, Julie, his show pays $600 a week. We could pay off all our debts with that kind of dough.
Darling, be sensible. No amount of money is worth the punishment you'll have to take from him.
Now, look, we'll talk about this later. He's on the phone.
Tell him no.
He'll hear you. Hello?
Mr. Phillips, this is Basil King speaking.
Oh, yes, Mr. King.
Several people have spoken very highly of you as a radio writer, and at the moment I'm in need of one for my show, Brad Barker, Private Eye. Would you care to discuss the matter?
I'd like to, very much.
Are you free for luncheon tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
Shall we say 1 o'clock at the Algonquin?
All right, Mr. King.
Just ask for my table. Good day, Mr. Phillips.
Good day. Now, honey, don't look at me that way.
Dave, I just don't understand you. It doesn't make sense wanting to write for him. Everyone who's ever worked for Basil King detests him. He's the most hated man in radio.
Be reasonable, Julie. $600 a week is a lot of dough. If I can't get along with King, I'll quit. Now, what more can you ask? Next day, as the head waiter led me through the crowded dining room, I could see Basil King seated at a table in a far corner of the room. King was a tall, slender, gray-haired man in his late 40s. He had a cold, impassive face, and his movements were stiff and precise. It suddenly occurred to me that he bore an amazing resemblance to Clifton Webb, the Hollywood star. As I reached King's table, he stood up.
How do you do, Mr. Phillips? I'm Basil King. Have a seat, won't you?
Thank you.
I suggest we talk first and order luncheon later.
All right, Mr. King.
Now, Mr. Phillips, to begin with, I'm a man who believes in frankness. I dare say this frankness of mine has led to my making a large number of enemies and has given me the reputation of being an extremely difficult person to get along with. No doubt you've heard quite a few stories about me.
Yes, I have.
Believe me, they're highly exaggerated. Great talents, such as myself, have always been misunderstood. The petty minds in this world, not understanding men of genius, are forever seeking to destroy us.
I see.
I wonder if you do, Mr. Phillips. I wonder if you do. I ask very little of my writers, merely a modicum of intelligence and the ability to accept constructive criticism.
That sounds reasonable enough.
Yes, one would think so, and yet I haven't been able to find a writer who understands me.
I'm sure you will sooner or later.
Perhaps, but to date it's been very discouraging. However, we mustn't dwell on the past. Now, Mr. Phillips, you come highly recommended, and I trust that ours shall be a happy and profitable relationship.
I hope so.
By the way, you aren't troubled by ulcers, are you?
Who I know.
Good. For some unfathomable reason, all the writers I've had in the past seem to have been afflicted with ulcers. I can't stand people who are always taking pills and subsisting on bland diets. Tell me, are you familiar with my show, Brad Barker, Private Eye?
Oh, yes. I've heard it quite often.
Good. Then you're undoubtedly aware that there are two things I insist upon in my shows. Clever plots and gimmicks that work. Bear that in mind, Mr. Phillips. Clever plots and gimmicks that work.
I understand.
It's on those two rules that I have single-handedly built the most popular detective show on the air. You've only to look at the Hooper rating of Brad Barker, Private Eye, to substantiate what I'm saying.
Yes, I know. You've got a terrific rating.
18.6. Needless to add, my sponsor, the Zestful Chewing Gum Company, has increased its sales tremendously. Now, Mr. Phillips, I'm prepared to pay $600 a week for the writing of Brad Barker. Is that satisfactory?
Yes, that sounds fair enough.
When may I expect your first script?
Well, let's see. Today is Wednesday. What about Monday morning?
That's satisfactory. Monday morning it is. Now, shall we order luncheon?
An hour later, Basil King and I separated in front of the Algonquin. I went home and started work on the script, determined to turn out a show that would make King sit up and take notice. After 4 days and nights of intensive writing, I completed the script. Monday morning, I went downtown to Basil King's luxurious office and turned the script over to him. As I sat by his desk, watching him read it, it was hard to tell what he thought of it. His face was cold and impassive as he turned page after page. At last, he finished reading it and looked up.
It won't do, Mr. Phillips.
It won't do? Well, why not?
First of all, you haven't caught the spirit of Brad Barker in your dialogue. But more important, the plot is weak, and your murder gimmick won't work.
Well, I don't see why it won't. Would you mind explaining?
In this script, you have the victim, what's his name?
Charles Riker.
Yes, you have this fellow Charles Riker, whose life has been threatened, barricade himself in a small cabin. All doors and windows are locked from the inside, and in addition, he's armed to the teeth and has a watchdog with him.
That's right.
2 days after this fellow Riker has barricaded himself, Brad Barker breaks into the cabin to find him dead. Dead of poison.
Yes.
Your gimmick is that the murderer, unable to get at Riker, has tapped the water pipe which ran from the spring to the cabin and poisoned the water.
Yes, well, what's wrong with that?
My dear fellow, don't you think that when Riker drew a glass of water in the cabin, he'd have tasted the poison in the water?
But I planted in the script that the poison was tasteless.
Oh, you did? Well, nevertheless, it won't work.
Oh, why not?
It just doesn't ring true. I don't feel it.
Why not?
We should stop asking why not. It's obvious that I don't like your gimmick, and if I don't like it, 15 million radio listeners won't like it. If our relationship is to continue, you must learn to accept constructive criticism. After all, my dear fellow, you have merely to look at the rating of the show to realize that I am never wrong. Furthermore, I should like to point out that at no time...
Is that you, Dave?
Yes, Julie?
How did King like your script? He didn't like it.
That's putting it mildly.
Oh, but that was a good script. One of the best you've ever done.
That's what I thought. But Mr. King didn't.
No wonder all his writers have nervous breakdowns. That man doesn't know what he wants.
Well, I'll give it one more try.
You mean you're still going to try to write for him?
Now, honey, there's no use in giving up so soon. Maybe once I get to know King's likes and dislikes, it won't be so tough to write for him.
Dave, I've never interfered before, but this is too much. I want you to call that egomaniac King up and tell him you're through.
Julie, I can't. I told King that I'd turn in another script by Thursday.
Oh, Dave.
I promise you that if he doesn't like the second script, I'll give up. Now, that's fair enough, isn't it? For the next 3 days and nights, I sweated over a new script. As I worked out the plot and gimmick, I tried to anticipate Basil King's every possible objection. Early Thursday morning, I went downtown to King's office and turned the script over to him. As he sat reading it, I began thinking of what I would say to him if he turned the show down. I would tell him quite firmly that it was obvious I wasn't the man to write the Brad Barker show. At last, King finished reading the script and looked up.
The plot, Mr. Phillips, isn't exactly new, and the dialogue needs rewriting here and there, but on the whole, it will do.
You mean you like it?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that I like it. Rather, let us say that it's acceptable. I trust, Mr. Phillips, that with time, your scripts will improve. Good day.
I left Basil King's office that morning convinced that I would succeed where other writers had failed. I felt it would be just a question of time until I learned the workings of King's mind. But then I discovered, as so many of my predecessors had, that Basil King's likes and dislikes were not constant from day to day. What he told you on Thursday didn't hold true on Friday. Weeks went by, and for every show that King accepted, he'd reject two. He would criticize every script from beginning to end, tearing it to bits relentlessly and coldly. Any questioning of his criticism would lead to his redoubling his attack. 1 week slipped into another, and with each passing week, my hatred for Basil King grew. Life became a nightmare of deadlines, of writing endlessly with one eye constantly on the clock.
Darling, you just can't go on this way. You've got to quit.
Julie, we've been over this a dozen times already. We need the $600 a week to pay off our debt.
What good is that money if you have a nervous breakdown? Look at yourself. You've lost 15 pounds in these past weeks, and you're smoking 5 packs of cigarettes a day.
Please, Julie, I've had all I can take today. Now, let's not talk about it anymore.
You're not kidding me, Dave. The money is only part of it. It's your pride that won't let you quit.
My pride?
Yes. You can't stand the thought of quitting like the others did. You've got to prove that you're better than they are.
That's enough.
Well, it's the truth, isn't it? It's only your pig-headed pride that makes you go on when anyone with sense would quit.
I said that's enough.
Dave, we can't go on like this.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to stand around and watch you have a breakdown. You'll have to choose between Basil King and myself.
Now, look, Julie, you're upset. You don't know what you're saying.
I know perfectly well what I'm saying. I'm asking you to choose between Basil King and myself.
Stop trying to intimidate me. I told you before I'm not quitting, and I meant it.
All right, Dave. If that's the way you want it, I'm leaving.
Well, go ahead. No one's stopping you. Basil King may be able to make you quit, but not me. You call it pride, okay. But I won't let a louse like him beat me. Somehow I'll get the better of him. You wait and see.
Goodbye, Dave.
I was so emotionally worn out the night you left me, Julie. I could scarce comprehend my loss at the time. There seemed to be only two people in the world. Basil King and myself. As I traveled back and forth day after day between my typewriter and King's office, my hatred for him increased 100-fold. Feeling my hatred for him, King redoubled his sadistic attack, sensing that I was determined not to quit. The weeks slipped by, and the nightmare continued. King insisted that I come to all rehearsals of the show so that the cast, as he put it, might see the culprit who wrote the script. It was at a rehearsal that I first met Mr. Pearson, president of the Zestful Chewing Gum Company. He was sitting in the control room, watching with great respect as Basil King rehearsed the cast.
No. My dear Miss Hunter, I assumed when I hired you that you were a radio actress. If I'm wrong, please enlighten me.
What did I do that was wrong, Mr. King?
I don't feel it. I just don't feel it. Try it again.
Rocky, you've got to give me a chance to explain. It wasn't my fault. Honest, it wasn't, Rocky.
Cut. Miss Hunter, you sound too young. I want you to age the role 1 year. Mind you, just 1 year.
Yes, Mr. King. Rocky, you've got to give me a chance to explain. It wasn't my fault. Honest, it wasn't. Rocky, don't.
Cut. Well, if that's the best you can give me, it will have to do. And Mr. Cooney, if you can't do better, I'll have to get another sound man. Take 15 minutes.
It's dreadful, Mr. King, the incompetence you have to put up with.
Yes, Mr. Pearson, it often amazes me that I've been as successful as I have. Oh, speaking of incompetence, Mr. Pearson, I'd like you to meet the present writer of the show, Mr. Phillips.
How do you do, Mr. Phillips?
Glad to meet you, sir. I have great hopes, Mr. Pearson, of making a radio writer out of Phillips.
Well, I'm sure if anyone can do it, you're that person, Mr. King.
Pardon me, Mr. King. Would you like to hear the commercial now?
Very well, Caruso. Go ahead.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, July 8th is the big day. In just 1 month, you'll be able to buy the latest discovery in chewing gum happiness, Pepso Gum. Made by the Zestful Chewing Gum Company, Pepso Gum is a new gum. A gum with a jailed-in flavor, designed to give you hours of chewing pleasure. Remember, the big day is July 8th, when Pepso Gum will be on sale at all candy counters.
I don't feel it, Caruso. I want more emphasis. I want you to be so compelling that people will rush to their drugstores and place orders for this new gum.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Rehearse it a few more times, and I'll go over it with you later.
Yes, Mr. King.
Well, I guess I'll be getting back to the office, Mr. King. Most kind of you to allow me to watch your rehearsal.
That's quite all right, Mr. Pearson.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Phillips. I assume that you'll be at the factory for next week's broadcast.
The factory? Yes, Phillips. We're doing the broadcast in the factory next week.
Yes, it's the company's 25th anniversary. You've no idea how our employees are looking forward to your broadcast. Yes, indeed. Well, good day, gentlemen.
Goodbye, Mr. Pearson. Mr. Phillips, I have here the script you turned in for next week's show. It won't do.
Why not?
There are so many things wrong with the script that it's hard to know where to begin. Let's start with your murder gimmick. You have the victim, I believe his name is Roger Roden.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, you have this fellow Roden picking up an envelope, licking the flap, and sealing the envelope. A minute later, he drops dead. Your gimmick is potassium cyanide powder has been mixed into the glue of the envelope flap.
Yes, and when Roden licked the flap, his tongue absorbed the poison.
It just won't stand up.
Oh, why not?
For the simple reason that Roden's tongue wouldn't absorb enough potassium cyanide to kill him.
Oh, but it would. Potassium cyanide is a very potent poison. Just a few grains will kill a man.
Possibly, but I'm not convinced. And if you can't convince me, you won't convince our 16 million listeners. It just won't do.
It will work. I tell you, it will work.
I'm sorry, Mr. Phillips, but I don't agree. How soon can you have another script for me?
It was at that moment I knew I was going to murder Basil King. Perhaps all along it had been there, buried in my subconscious. For the first time in weeks, my hands stopped trembling, and I was able to think clearly of all that had happened. I had allowed Basil King, a man who was a psychopathic case, to drag me down to his own level. And what was worse, I had lost Julie. My stupid pride had driven the one person I loved away from me. Basil King would pay for that. And all the anguish he'd caused so many people. I thought of King's rejection of my potassium cyanide gimmick. And suddenly it came to me how ironic it would be if his death were brought about by potassium cyanide. Yes, the great man dying by a gimmick which he declared wouldn't work. Of course, I couldn't use the envelope flap, but there were other ways. And I would think of one. Now, that night, a plan began to form in my mind. A plan which was completed a week later as I was being shown through the zestful chewing gum factory by Mr. Morris, the superintendent of the factory. I had no idea the factory was so large, Mr. Morris. We seem to have walked miles.
I'm afraid you radio riders just aren't used to walking. Probably ride in taxi cabs all the time.
I guess you're right. Oh, what's this place?
This is the shipping room. Oh. That about completes the tour. I reckon you've seen just about everything.
Say, all these boxes have Pepsi-Gum marked on the side of them.
That's right.
You getting ready to distribute it all over the country?
Yeah, you're going to start shipping next week.
You know, I've heard so many announcements on the show about Pepsi-Gum that I'm curious. What's it taste like?
Well, it's hard to say. It has sort of a sharp flavor.
Sounds good. If you have any around, I'd like to taste it.
Well, I'd like to give you some, Mr. Phillips, but the old man, Mr. Pearson, he's given out strict orders not to give any of it out. Reckon he's trying to keep it from the public till the last minute.
Oh. But employees have tasted it, haven't they?
Oh, sure.
Well, Mr. Morris, you're looking at an employee right now. I do write radio shows for the company.
Yeah, I guess you are an employee after all. I reckon I can give you a pack of Pepsi-Gum. There you are.
Thanks. An attractive-looking pack of gum.
Yeah, you got to catch the customer's eye if you want to sell gum. Oh, what do you say if we go back to the auditorium?
Fine. I've seen the whole factory, and I've got a pack of the new Pepsi-Gum. What more could I ask for? A few minutes later, I left Mr. Morris in the auditorium, where the great Basil King was rehearsing the cast for the show. I walked across the street to the inn where we were staying and went up to my room. There, I took the pack of Pepsi-Gum from my pocket and withdrew one of the 5 sticks of gum. I very carefully removed the wrapper, and taking a dampened handkerchief, I wiped the candy powder off the stick of gum. It took but another minute to evenly sprinkle potassium cyanide powder over the wet stick of gum. In a very short time, the gum dried, and it was impossible to tell that the fine, powdery coating on it was a coating of death. I rewrapped the stick of gum and carefully inserted it in the center of the pack. When I arrived at the auditorium 10 minutes before airtime, the great man was relaxing in the control room. With him were Mr. Pearson and Bill, the broadcast engineer.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Phillips. I was afraid you were going to miss the broadcast.
Mr. Phillips may not be a good writer, but he is a punctual one, Mr. Pearson.
Mr. King, you're a great one for banter. You have a ready wit.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson.
Yeah, look at that auditorium. Completely packed. I've never seen our employees so enthusiastic, and it's all due to you, Mr. King. I hope you'll say a few words to them after the broadcast.
Well, I shall be delighted to.
Can you spare a minute, Mr. King?
What is it?
Do you remember that script I turned in a week ago with the potassium cyanide gimmick?
You mean where the victim licked the envelope flap and was poisoned? Yes, I remember that deplorable script. What about it?
Well, I was wondering, what if we were to switch the potassium cyanide to something else? Instead of the envelope, perhaps the cyanide might be sprinkled on a piece of candy or something like that.
No. It would never work. I don't feel it.
You really don't think it would, huh?
Certainly not. Really, Mr. Phillips, you're showing less and less imagination from week to week.
Well, I just thought I'd mention it.
Hey, Mr. Phillips, that pack of gum you have, isn't that the new Pepsi-Gum?
Yes, Mr. Pearson, that's right.
But I gave strict orders that it wasn't to be given out. How did you get it?
Yes, how did you get it?
I found this pack in the shipping room. I hope you don't mind my having taken it.
Well, no. After all, we are just one big family.
You see, Mr. Pearson, I've heard so much about the new Pepsi-Gum that I was curious to find out what it tasted like.
Well, what did you think of it?
Well, I haven't tried it yet. But I guess this is as good a time as ever. Have a piece?
I don't mind if I do. Thank you.
What about you, Mr. King?
No, thank you.
You mean You aren't even curious to know what Mr. Pearson's new gum tastes like?
Please, Mr. King, I'm very eager to know what you think of the flavor. I have great respect for your opinion.
Very well, Mr. Pearson.
Here you are, Mr. King.
Thank you.
I understand it has a sharp flavor, Mr. Pearson.
Yes, but delightfully so. That's delicious. Well, I have a feeling that Pepsi-Gum is going to be a tremendous success. Go ahead, Mr. King. Put it in your mouth. I'm anxious to have your opinion.
Yes. Yes. Well, certainly has a sharp taste.
Oh, not that sharp. Keep chewing it. 1 minute there, time, Mr. King.
Thank you.
I watched the great man, Basil King, chewing a stick of Pepsi-Gum. I knew that he found the flavor a bit sharp. And if Mr. Pearson hadn't been watching him, he would have spat it out. Yes, Mr. King didn't like the flavor, but with the sponsor looking on, he had to continue chewing. I watched the minute hand sweep around the clock. In 30 seconds, we would be on the air, and according to my calculations, Mr. King would keel over 15 seconds after we were on the air.
Stand by.
I'll give you the go-ahead, Mr. King.
Very well.
Coming up. Go ahead.
Successful Chewing Gum Company presents Brad Barker, Private Eye. Conceived, produced, directed, and edited by Basil King.
My dear fellow, the monitor is too high. Answer, take it down. You engineers just don't know. Oh, my heart.
Brad Barker,
King, what's wrong?
My heart.
Quick, catch him.
I've got him, Mr. Pearson. You'd better get a doctor. It looks like a heart attack.
Yes, I'll get one immediately.
Bill, turn down the monitor. Just do the best you can.
Okay, Dave. You take care of him, and I'll take care of the show.
And soon there will be a fresh flavor added to the Zestful Chewing Gum
King, can you hear me?
Yes, get a doctor.
Do you remember the potassium cyanide gimmick?
Potassium cyanide.
Yes. I just want you to know you're wrong. It does work. That's why you're dying.
What?
That stick of gum I gave you. It was covered with potassium cyanide powder.
No, get a doctor.
A doctor can't help you. You're going to die.
Oh, no,
Brad Barker, Private Eye.
Poor Mr. King.
Small, dingy office overlooking the harbor. On the door is a letter.
You just forgot one thing.
Waterfront Protective Association.
Murder is my business. Julie, darling, that was a year ago, and I've never ceased to regret your leaving me. I'm writing this in the hope that you will find it in your heart to forgive me. I admit that it was my stupid pride that wouldn't allow me to acknowledge defeat at Basil King's hands. But he's gone now, Julie. And if you could only see your way clear to start all over.
Hi, hello, Mr. Phillips. Remember me, John Pearson?
Mr. Pearson?
Yes. You remember Mr. Morris, my factory superintendent?
Hello.
We happened to be driving past and thought it'd be a nice gesture to drop in and find out how you were getting along.
Please, I've got to finish this letter to my wife, Julie. I've got to finish it.
Doesn't seem to be getting any better, does he, Mr. Pearson?
No, it doesn't. Look at all these letters scattered around. Must be at least 100. They're all addressed to his wife.
What a pity, huh?
Yes, I'll never forget that day that Basil King died of a heart attack. I came back to the control room to find poor Mr. Phillips crying hysterically over the body. He never has gotten over the shock of Basil King's death. What a wonderful friendship that was.
This is the mysterious traveler. Did you enjoy our little trip? It's too bad about Dave Phillips, isn't it? His mind snapped in his hour of triumph. 16 weeks of life with Basil King proved to be just too much for him, mentally. As Basil King used to say, being a radio writer calls for a weak mind. However, it does seem that Dave Phillips did get in the last word. For Basil King died of a gimmick he claimed would never work. And the police, oddly enough, never did suspect it was murder. Now, I recall another case in which a young man awoke to find himself dead, and he decided... you have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. All characters in tonight's story were fictitious, and any resemblance to the names of actual persons was purely coincidental. In tonight's cast were Maurice Tarplin, Eric Dressler, John Sylvester, Shirley Blank, and Richard Coogan. Original music was played by Paul Taubman. Sound was by George Cooney, broadcast engineer Walter Payne. Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan. Listen next week to a tale titled
Queen of the Cats.
Another strange and suspenseful tale of the Mysterious Traveler. This program has come to you from our New York studios. Another program of tense and dramatic action will follow in just a minute. Stay tuned to the station for Official Detective. Carl Caruso speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting...
Strange Will. Starring the distinguished Hollywood actor Warren Williams. And featuring Mary Lansing and Carlton Young with an all-star Hollywood cast. Original music by Del Castillo.
Dead men's wills are often strange. We cannot attempt to understand them or try to find the answers. We can but tell the story.
This is Warren Williams bringing you the story Autograph Girl. But first...
And here is Warren Williams as John Francis O'Connell.
When a man makes out his last will and testament and meets a very pretty young girl all in the same day, watch out. Anything's liable to happen. I remember very well the morning that Peter Brayton, motion picture star and heartthrob of literally millions of girls the world over, came into my office to sign his will. Romance must have been the farthest thing from his mind, because...
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that's over with, John. You know, the very thought of signing my last will and testament gives me the shivers.
Oh, nonsense, Peter. Today, people think about such things when they're young and in the prime of life.
Well, maybe so. Now, at least if anything happens, I won't have a mob of greedy relatives hovering around my casket.
Of course. They'd be wasting their time.
Hey, John, I've got an idea. There's a premiere of my new picture opening tonight over at the Capitol.
Yes, I've been reading about it. Mobs of people outside. Giant spotlights plying the sky. On-the-spot broadcasts. Big stuff.
No, it's all part of the business. But John, come with me, will you?
Aye. What about all those glamorous girls that want to go? Why not one of them?
Not tonight, John. A guy's got to be himself once in a while, and I won't take no for an answer.
Well, all right, if that's the way you feel about it. I'll be happy to go.
Good. I'll pick you up at your apartment at 9. How's that?
I'll be ready.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I see Peter Brayton coming through the crowd. Oh, listen to the girl. I'm going to try very hard to get Mr. Brayton over to our microphone and have him say a few words to you. Mr. Brayton, come over here, please. Yes, here he comes. America's heartthrob #1, Peter Brayton, whose new picture, Two Hearts Overboard, is being premiered here tonight. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Brayton.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm happy to be here, and I honestly think that Two Hearts Overboard is the greatest picture I've ever had the pleasure of appearing in. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Brayton? Mr. Brayton?
Yes? Well, hello.
Can I please have your autograph?
Look, John, look at the beautiful little lady asking for my autograph.
I'd consider it a pleasure to give her mine.
So would I. I tell you what I'll do, miss. Let's exchange autographs. How about it?
Oh, would you, Mr. Brayton?
Have you a piece of paper?
Uh-huh. Right here.
Fine. Yeah, now turn around. I'll write it on your back.
Right.
To a charming and beautiful girl, Peter Brayton. There you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so very much.
Not at all. Now, where's yours?
Wait. Wait just a minute.
What are you... You're tearing your slip.
To Peter Brayton with love. Angel there. Oh, wait. I want to add one more thing. York, 8,000. There. Here it is.
My most cherished remembrance, Angel. Say, that's a cute name, too. Angel Dare. The angel who dared.
The very next day, this sidewalk romance went into high gear.
Yes?
Angel?
This is Angel. Oh, Mr. Brayton. I hoped you'd call.
Well, I'm glad I did then. How about it?
How about it? I've been sitting here at the telephone ever since last night, just waiting and praying.
Well, your prayers are answered. Now, if you'll tell me where you live, I'll pick you up in about an hour.
1158 Rimpaw Boulevard. It's at the corner of Rimpaw and 12th.
Good. Have your duds on and we'll step out.
Well, it wasn't long after that Angel and Peter were seen nightly at the exclusive nightclubs frequented by picture people. None of us knew exactly what was going on until late one night.
Oh, Peter, dear, you can't imagine how happy I am. You've made a beautiful new world for me.
You have for me, too, Angel.
I hate to see our nights come to an end. Just think. In a few minutes, you'll drive me back to my lonely little room.
Then I'll go to my even lonelier house.
You see, Peter? That's what I mean. What's the use of being together if we have to go home alone and wish?
Wish? Yes, that's what I do, Angel. I wish every night that you were with me, not only for a few hours, but always.
I want a home, Peter. I want a home and children. That's all that really matters.
Yes, you're right. A home and children, something to work for, an ideal. Well, why can't we?
Why can't we? What, Peter, dearest?
Why can't we have our home and children just like anyone else can?
Oh, Peter, I didn't mean...
Now, listen, Angel, let's take the bull by the horns. And...
And?
Well, Let's drive to the airport. We'll fly to Las Vegas and get married. Now, tonight.
Darling, do you really want...
More than anything else in the world. It's high time we caught a little of this happiness before it flies out of our reach. Now, come on.
Peter.
You... Angel, you're crying. Don't you want
Peter.
this?
Peter, I want you more than anything in the whole world. I love you, Peter. Oh, so very much.
Hollywood, dear old Hollywood, where the unexpected is always a certainty. After a 2 weeks honeymoon, the happy young couple came back to Peter's home. Peter called me early the next morning.
Hello, John. Sorry you weren't in on the marriage, but it came so unexpectedly.
Well, congratulations, Peter, to both of you. I'm very glad it happened. Maybe that's what you needed.
She's an angel, all right, John. An angel right from heaven. Isn't interested in the theater, movies, no, sir. She just wants a home and a family.
Well, you are lucky. But what brings you back so quickly, Peter?
A new picture. I'm going over to the studio now to pick up the script. Say, John.
Yes?
I almost forgot to tell you why I called. I've got to change my will, of course.
Well, that's customary.
Make out a new one, will you? Leave everything to my wife, Angel Ann Brayton.
Angel Ann Brayton. Okay, I've got it. I'll redraft it, and we'll have it executed next week. That all right?
That'll be fine. And say, we'll have you out for dinner one night this week, too. I'll let you know when.
You sound like a very domesticated husband.
Believe me, John, I am. I've got a home. A real home now for the first time in my life.
What are you reading, darling?
Hmm? Oh, it's the new script for my next picture. I just picked it up at the studio.
What's the name of it going to be?
7 Flights to Glory. It's about a young fellow who gave up a fortune to become an artist. He went to Paris.
Oh, how thrilling.
So far, it sounds good. I haven't finished it yet.
Peter,
Yes, my love?
do you have to go away on location?
I think so, for a few weeks at least. You going to miss me, Angel?
Miss you? Oh, Peter, of course.
I think we're going to shoot part of the story in Paris.
Oh.
Poor little Angel. That's one of the penalties of being married to an actor.
Oh, but Peter, I know a way.
A way? A way to what?
Well, I just thought of a way that would keep us together in spite of the picture.
Keep us together? Hey, what's going on in that pretty little head?
Come over here, Peter. Here.
Sure.
Sit down next to me. Put your arm around me. Comfy?
Deliciously.
Darling, why couldn't we do this? You don't want to be away from me, do you, Peter?
Oh, of course not, darling.
Well, then, why couldn't you see the producer or the director or whoever you see and have him give me a tiny little part in the picture?
Hmm?
And then we could be together. Couldn't we, darling?
Well, yes, I suppose we could, but I thought you hated
Oh, I hate picture work. I hate it with all my heart. But I love you, Peter. Your little angel wants to be with you. Forever and always.
Well, I suppose I could.
Oh, will you, Peter? Peter, dearest.
All right.
Oh, you've made me so happy. Now we can read the script together. And you can pick out the part you want Angel to play. Of course, it can't be a lead. Not yet.
Little Angel had her way, all right. She had a minor part in 7 Flights to Glory and got to Paris with Peter. But before the picture was even released, she engaged drama teachers, had her gowns designed by Maurice, and for a girl who hated the theater, she was really going Hollywood. Very shortly after their return to the States, I accepted an invitation to dinner.
You have no idea how Paris has broadened me.
You don't look any broader, Angel.
You certainly don't. In fact, those Parisian gowns sort of... Well, you know what I mean.
I know Peter's new picture will be the finest he's ever done. And while my part was comparatively small, I know now that I belong to the theater. I have a great talent. The director said so, didn't he, Peter?
Why, yes, maybe he did, come to think of it, but... Angel, dear, I hate to see you get into this picture business. I don't know, but But two actors in the same family, well, it's never proved very successful.
Why, Peter, how can you talk that way? If you have genius... Well, you have genius, that's all there is to it. It isn't what I want anymore. It's what the public wants.
Well, Angel, what's going to be your next picture? Made any plans?
No, but Peter's going to take me over to the studio tomorrow.
I'm going to take you where?
You're going with me to the studio, dear, and talk to the producer. As long as I can act, and I can, you know, there's no reason why I should be idle. I'm ready now for a leading role. And I mean to play it opposite you, Peter.
Part 2 of Strange Wills, written by Ken Crepine and directed by Robert Webster Light, will follow in just a moment. And now, back to the Strange Wills story, Autograph Girl, starring Juan William as John Francis O'Connell.
Sometimes it's difficult for producers to say no to their leading actors, and so it was in the case of Peter Brayton. Against the better judgment of all concerned, the studio gave Angel the second lead in So Deep the Stream, starring Peter Brayton. Angel, the little girl who hated the theater, lost no time in going over her part with her husband. This is what she'd been waiting for.
But, darling, I don't like the way you're reading your lines.
Well, the studio's been paying me for 5 years to read them this way.
But, darling, this is different. I'm starring in the picture with you, remember? Can't you read your part down a little so that I could stand out? I got to be noticed, too, you know.
But you are noticed, Angel, dear. You have an excellent part.
Oh, fiddlesticks. If we did the scene this way, everyone would remember you, not me. Now, here on page 56. It calls for a close-up of you. What for? Why not a close-up of both of us? And on pages 64, 72, and here on 81, the same way.
But,
if I'm going to be in this picture, I insist that those shots are close-ups of both of us together.
All right, Angel, all right. Let's not argue about it. You see, dear, this is what I was afraid of. That's why I stayed single up to the time you came along. I didn't want any conflict between my wife and myself. That's why I married you, dear, because you wanted nothing to do with things.
Oh, let's not go into that anymore, Peter. That's water over the dam. Someone thinks I'm pretty good, or I wouldn't have been cast to play opposite you. And, Peter, remember, you're an old-timer in this picture work.
Huh?
You can't stay popular forever, you know. Why not let me get a few breaks now while you're still able...
What are you driving at, Angel?
Only this. I think you're jealous of my ability. I think you're afraid to give me a break because I'd steal the picture from you.
You really believe that, don't you, Angel?
I really believe that, Peter.
I attended the premiere of So Deep the Stream with Angel and Peter. The theater was filled with an eager throng who had come to see Peter Brayton's latest picture. But we were in for a real surprise. Angel's delivery of lines was so bad, her acting so unreal, that the audience almost booed. The reaction was so overwhelmingly against Angel's performance that Peter and I felt terribly embarrassed for her. But Angel didn't react at all in the way I expected. On the way home in the car...
I was never so humiliated.
It was pretty bad, wasn't it, darling?
Oh, well, just because it wasn't well received in Hollywood...
And do you want to know why it wasn't well received, John?
Oh, I suppose the story was bad, or the direction.
No, it wasn't the story or the direction. It was Peter's acting. I told you, Peter, once before that no matter how great you are, there comes a day of retribution. You've slipped, Peter. You've slipped. Didn't you hear everyone in the theater laughing at you?
The next year saw the end of the marriage between Peter and Angel. Peter came to my office to tell me the story.
What's the use of trying to go on, John? She'll not recognize the truth, nor give up her career.
You don't know how sorry I am to hear this, Peter. It's too bad that a marriage as romantic and different as yours started out to be had to break up.
But that's not all, John. The studio told me I was through today. They've canceled my contract. And you can't blame them, I guess, after 3 flops co-starring Angel and me.
Oh, but Peter, you're really a fine actor.
That's not the point. They blame me for insisting Angel be signed.
Well, anyway, you're not going to starve to death. You've managed to save quite a bit over the years.
That's just it. I'm afraid I'm back to where I started 7 years ago. Only now I have a scrapbook. Something to remember me by.
What are you talking about?
I've come to a financial understanding with Angel.
Well, of course. But what did she want, Peter?
Everything.
Everything?
Yes, John. Everything.
3 days later, after the divorce became final, Angel married a bit player by the name of George Fedorov. He was a great genius, she informed us through the press. George and she would produce and co-star in their own picture in Technicolor. It was entitled Beyond the Beyond. It was to cost $3 million. You, $3 million. Well, Peter Brayton was financing a $3 million opus, whether he knew it or not. Peter auctioned off his furniture and disposed of his estate in the country. He moved into a small apartment in Hollywood. That was all he could do under the circumstances. About a month later, I dropped off at his place to cheer him up. He needed it. Come on, cheer up, Peter. You've never seen a thoroughbred that didn't come through under pressure, and I know you will, too.
Got a job in 9 months. That's going some.
Have you made any inquiries about work?
I can't afford to, John. If they think I'm hungry, that's all they need to know. Then I would be through. By the way, though, there's hope.
Good.
I'm expecting a call from my agent. He's dickering with an independent studio. They're considering me for a spot. It's a B picture, but so what? At least it's getting back on the ladder again.
How hard it is to climb that ladder, and how easily one slides back.
Yeah, that's the picture business, John. You've just got to learn to take it. Oh, excuse me, will you, John? That may be my call. Hello? Oh, hello, Jack. What have you got? Good. All right, I'll report to wardrobe in the morning. And Jack, thanks. Thanks very much. Well, happy days are here again, John. That was Jack Marcus, my agent. Just got me a good spot in the picture. Not the lead, of course, but it's something I can get my teeth into, and, well, that's all I want.
Meanwhile, Angel's picture, Beyond Beyond, turned out to be one that the critics could get their teeth into, and they lost no time in tearing it to shreds. Summarizing all of the reviews, the critics were unanimous in agreeing that Angel Dare and her co-star husband better take a trip beyond beyond before an enraged public caught up with them. Well, after reading what others thought about her $3 million extravaganza, Angel had a little talk with George, a nice little chat filled with dynamite.
See, you fool. Now you can see for yourself what the critics think about you. And to think I spent my...
But darling, look what they say about you.
They're mean, contemptible, the whole lot of them. That's the way critics have of getting even. Ever since I left Peter.
Oh, but Angel, honey, they said that about you before you left Peter.
Oh, shut up, George. If only I'd had sense enough to get a real leading man. My talent would...
Your talent. It was my talent that carried you. I'd hate to imagine what the critics would have said if I hadn't been in the picture and held you up.
I made one mistake, George. One big mistake.
I think so, too, Don. You should never have left Oshkosh.
I should never have left Peter. I wasn't ready.
Well, why did you, Pet? I would have waited a bit longer. We still could have seen each other.
Leaving Peter was my first mistake. The second one was wasting my time with a weakling, a ham like you.
Well, you never talked that way before, Angel. You used to say...
Every cent I have in the world on this picture, and it's mortgaged up to the hilt. I'm broke, George. Do you understand? Flat broke.
Well, you could get your old job back again, sweetmeat. You know, the one in the coffee shop. We could live very nicely on your tips.
Maybe we could. But we're not going to, George. You're getting out. You're getting out of here tonight. Bag and baggage.
Oh, Angel, you wouldn't throw me out in the street. What could I do? Where could I go?
I don't care. That's your problem. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make Peter Brayton fall in love with me all over again. I'm going to remarry him. You just wait and see.
Peter Brayton came back the hard way. But he had the fortitude, the talent to do it. All of his friends, and there were many, cheered him on as bit parts became supporting roles, and then, finally, his old studio signed him up again to a long-term contract. Peter completed his first picture under the new contract, a thriller called Margin for Love, and all who saw the studio preview agreed that it was the finest he'd ever done. Peter Brayton was back at the top of the heap where he belonged. The night of the world premiere, Peter and I had a quiet supper before going to the theater.
Well, John, it's been a long, hard road, but I made it.
I know. I watched you every step of the way.
I suppose I paid the penalty for falling in love.
I wonder whatever happened to Angel.
So do I, John. I've never seen her since the day we parted in court. I loved her once. Very, very much.
How do you feel about her now, Peter?
I don't know. Someday when I meet her face to face, well...
You'll either kiss her or...
Yes, I'll either kiss her or... But I won't know, John, until that time comes. Honestly, I won't know.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I see Peter Brayton coming through the huge crowd out here in front of the Capitol Theater. Oh, look at those girls scream. I'm going to try to get Mr. Brayton over here to the microphone to say a few words. Mr. Brayton, come over here, please. Oh, yes, here he comes, folks. Peter Brayton, whose new picture, Margin for Love, is being premiered here tonight, right here at the Capitol Theater in Hollywood. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Brayton.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. It's great to be here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoy Margin for Love as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Brayton, would you give me your autograph, please?
Angel, you?
Yes, Peter. Darling.
Of course I'll give you my autograph. Got a piece of paper?
Uh-huh. Right here.
Excuse me just a moment, John. I have an autograph to sign. Here you are, Angel. Here it is.
Roses are red, violets blue. And all this means I'm through with you. Why, you ingrate. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me.
And, goodbye, Angel.
Warren William will be back in just a moment to tell you the rest of the story of Autograph Girl. But first, a word from your announcer. Here again is Warren William as John Francis O'Connell.
Well, that about ends my story of a young, beautiful, and ambitious girl. For Angel Dare failed in her scheming little plan to recapture the love of her ex-husband, Peter Brayton. They met face to face, and for a moment I was doubtful. But Angel Dare didn't get a second chance. And Peter Brayton, well, Peter is now very happily married to a fine girl not in the theater business. She'd have little time for it if she wanted to, what with the little Brayton twin girls to take care of. And so the story ends. Or is it just beginning? For this is Hollywood, and as they say, anything can happen in Hollywood. And usually does. Next week I have a story for you about a man who received an inheritance from a lady who died in Paris. But with the inheritance came Babette. Now Babette was French, cute, and a baby. In fact, some baby. And what she did to the life of a handsome young bachelor is a story well worth hearing. We call this unusual story Penthouse Orphan. This is Warren William, inviting you to listen again next week.
This is a Teloways feature produced in Hollywood. Any similarity between names used on this show and those of living persons is purely coincidental.